Chapter 828. That night, Feng Shanshan and Papa Feng stayed in the Shen family until late at night. Anyway, it was a 10-minute journey. At 10:00 in the evening, the two of them went home hand in hand. However, when they arrived at the door, Feng Shanshan saw a black car. Then, the two of them saw Papa Feng get out of the car. Feng Shanshan's smile gradually disappeared, even though she knew that she was the one who disturbed the peace of the Feng family first. Shanshan, what's the matter? Feng Shanshan was not even willing to call him father. She tried her best to ask calmly. Aren't you going to invite me in? Papa Feng stood in the darkness, his expression unreadable. Feng Shanshan turned to look at Tang Yan. Seeing Tang Yan nod, she agreed. Come in. Tang Yan took out the key, and Papa Feng followed behind the two of them. How did you know I lived here? Feng Shanshan asked despite knowing the answer. After settling Papa Feng down, she made him a pot of tea. I got someone to check because I wanted to know about your recent situation. Why aren't you studying anymore? You were doing fine in Xingting. Feng Shanshan patted her abdomen and answered calmly, because I'm pregnant. Only then was Papa Feng willing to examine Tang Yan. You're a police officer, aren't you? Tang Yan nodded. He did not know what to say because he did not know why Papa Feng was here. I know that your job is very dangerous, so I still want to bring Shanshan home. It's easier to take care of her, Papa Feng said. Otherwise, when you're out on a mission, I won't be at ease if she's alone at home. Tell me your real purpose for coming here. Feng Shanshan did not believe him at all. He had not cared about his daughter for more than 10 years, and now he said he wanted to bring her home. Was his fatherly love suddenly overflowing? Shanshan, I'm concerned about you. Tang Yan and I are married. Of course, I want to live with my husband. Moreover, you gave me quite a lot of money. I can hire a responsible nanny. You don't have to worry about my daily life. If you still feel guilty, you can give me more money. Anyway, the Feng family thinks that I came to you because of this, Shanshan. I don't think so. The man tried his best to explain. I heard that you dropped out of school because of this man. Quitting school is my own business. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Mr. Feng, you should go back. I'm sorry for disturbing your family, but I have gotten my money, and I have achieved my goal. The money is enough for me to live on. I will not disturb your family anymore. Feng Shanshan's tone became cold. Feng Shanshan's voice became cold. Shanshan, I just think that you can have a more stable life. Papa Feng looked very anxious and sincere. However, Feng Shanshan knew very well what his motive was. I like my current life very much. Mr. Feng, please go back, or... Feng Shanshan took out the check from her purse. I'll return it to you now. Just pretend that I never went to the Hanwen group before. Papa Feng did not reach out. He just said helplessly, you'll regret it in the future. I regret it. I regret why I went to find you that day. Papa Feng looked disappointed. In the end, he left their house without drinking a single sip of tea. At that moment, Feng Shanshan poured out the tea in the teapot. Tang Yan knew that she was doing it for him, so he hugged her and comforted her. Don't be so angry. Your father is right. In this world, I'm the only one who can criticize you. No one else can. Moreover, I'm familiar with his tricks. For so many years, he never came looking for me. Suddenly, he came to me to express his concern because the person next to him whispered something to him. Because I'm a threat to their status and inheritance, rather than leaving me outside, he might as well bring me back to deal with me. Also, they know that with you by my side, I won't be easily bullied. So, they must have said a lot of bad things about you in that man's ear. I really regret it. Tang Yan did not know how to comfort her, so he hugged her and kissed her. This trick was very useful to Feng Shanshan. After the kiss, most of her anger dissipated. Even if you're just a poor police officer, I'm willing. That's why you're stupid. After saying that, Tang Yan went to the bathroom in a flash. Feng Shanshan immediately laughed when she saw this. She couldn't stand it now. There were still 7 to 8 months to go. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. Mu Qiqi took out the red packet that Shen Jianchuan had given Xing Xiao. She wanted to know what was inside. Xing Xiao snatched it away and did not let her see it. Dad gave this to me, I'm just taking a look. Why are you so stingy? Mu Qiqi shifted her gaze away from the red packet. You said that I'm the biological daughter of the Xing family. You also enjoy high treatment in the Shen family. Your wish has been fulfilled. Aren't you happy? Xing Xiao put away the red packet and returned to the bed. After hearing what Feng Shanshan said about the Feng family that day, I don't think the Feng family will let her off so easily. She has acknowledged Dad as her godfather. At least the Feng family will take the Shen family's identity into consideration. Mu Qiqi had this concern. I think her father isn't a good person either. Xing Xiao did not actually say that Feng Shanshan and Shen Jianchuan's problems were still to come. Qing Bin would have a hard time. A week passed, and it was time for the prenatal checkup. Because of Dr. Song's instructions, Feng Shanshan went to the hospital more frequently. Because of this, Feng Shanshan and Song Qiaoji gradually became familiar with each other. She was always gentle and easygoing, and her medical skills were superb. Feng Shanshan gradually gained a sense of trust in her. It seems that you're really self-disciplined. All aspects of your indicators are very standard. You're really an obedient pregnant woman. Song Qiaoji praised her. I just want to give birth to the healthiest baby. No problem. Song Qiaoji comforted her with a smile. Maintain your emotions. After Feng Shanshan finished her prenatal checkup, she returned home safe and sound. In fact, ever since Feng Shanshan looked for Song Qiaoji to read the report, Qingbin had been following her at the hospital several times because he felt that the time was ripe. Feng Shanshan already trusted Song Qiaoji a lot, but Song Qiaoji did not let him do it. Qingbin was about to lose his patience, but he was stopped by Song Qiaoji. Every time Feng Shanshan comes for a prenatal checkup, there will be someone to protect her. Of all times, you've chosen to take advantage of her prenatal checkup. Do you think Tang Yan's brain is just for show? Then when do you say? I know what I'm doing. You just have to wait for my notice. Song Qiaoji warned Qingbin sternly. Don't act on your own. Otherwise, I'll tell Feng Shanshan immediately. Although Qingbin was extremely unconvinced, it was indeed the easiest to start from Song Qiaoji. All you think about is revenge, but Feng Shanshan's 2 lives are very innocent. Who asked her to be Tang Yan's woman? Qingbin sneered. Moreover, that woman of his isn't a good person either. She had ruined his brother's reputation in school. He was not innocent at all. Chapter 829. 2 days later, the case of Xing Bowen's escape was heard in court. As Xing Bowen's defense lawyer, the Xing family's lawyer collected a lot of evidence to prove that Xing Bowen did not know anything after he hit Xiao Jiayu that day. The court listened to the suggestions of both sides' lawyers, and with the forgiveness and pleading of Xiao Jiayu's family, the court finally ruled that Xing Bowen's escape was not established. However, he had to fulfill his due responsibility for compensation. The matter dragged on for more than a month before it was finally resolved. Xing Bowen was relaxed. The first thing he did after the announcement was to visit Xiao Jiayu in the hospital. Xiao Jiayu was recovering well, and the hospital was also doing their best to find a suitable bone marrow match for her. Grandpa Mang was very reasonable. Every time he saw Xing Bowen, he would hold his hand and thank him countless times. But even so, Xing Bowen still felt guilty. Especially when he saw the little girl's innocent eyes, so bright and heartwarming. "Uncle, Grandpa said that you're a good person." Xiao Jiayu sat on the bed and hugged the toy Xing Bowen brought. "If I were a good person, I wouldn't have bumped into you and run away." Xing Bowen did not hide what he had done to Xiao Jiayu. "Grandpa said that Uncle was framed." "Jiayu doesn't blame Uncle," Xiao Jiayu answered Xing Bowen softly. "You're so good. You're so sensible at such a young age." Xing Bowen patted Xiao Jiayu's head with a heartache. When he left, he gave the old man another card, but Grandpa Meng did not accept it. "I can't do that, Mr. Xing. You've helped us enough. I really can't take any more." "Grandpa Meng, Jiayu's treatment still costs a lot of money. Your family still has to live, so don't be polite with me. At most, when Jiayu grows up, she can come to Huangyao to work and repay me." When Grandpa Meng heard this, his eyes lit up because what Xing Bowen said was indeed a path. If Jiayu could live to that day, he would definitely let her repay her benefactor. "Then, thank you, old man. You're really a good person. Jiayu is so lovable. I also hope that she will be healthy and happy. In the future, there will be people who will contact you about Jiayu's study in life. Grandpa Mang, take good care of your health. When I have time, I'll visit the little girl." Grandpa Mang wiped his tears, which made people feel bitter. However, although the old man was poor, he was simple and kind, and he knew how to be grateful. Especially when he saw Xing Bowen leave, he sat by the bed and educated Xiao Jiayu. "In the future, when you grow up, you must find Uncle and work for him for the rest of your life to repay his kindness." "Grandpa, I do." Although Xiao Jiayu didn't know what a job was or how long a lifetime was, she remembered this uncle in her heart and would never forget him. As a result, Xiao Jiayu's matter came to an end. It had to be said that Jin Bo had spent a lot of effort, but he did not get anything. He even lost Xin Yu. Xing Xiao was as hard to deal with as the rumors said. However, there was still a long way to go. There were still several years to slowly grind away. On the night that he was acquitted, Xing Bowen brought Ren Yufei to the Banyan courtyard to have dinner with Xing Zhao's family. He knew that it was all thanks to Xing Xiao that he was safe and sound this time. "Eighth brother, let me toast you. My life is yours from now on." Xing Xiao did not budge at all. "I was the one who saved her. In the end, I still have to take over Huangyao. This fully shows what it means to be able to do more work." Xing Bowen did not think much of it and still smiled. "With you around, I can take Yufei and focus on going abroad." "You're going abroad?" Mu Chi stopped peeling the shrimp and looked at Xing Bowen. "I want to learn something, and so does Yufei, so we plan to go abroad for a period of time." "Do you want to completely let go?" Mu Chi-Chi's face immediately darkened. "You guys are going to have fun, leaving my master Xiao to work himself to death. If I had known, I wouldn't have saved you." "Huang Yao is a waste in my hands," Xing Bowen said seriously. "Look, in Eighth Brother's hands, in 5 years, it will be the #1 diamond empire in Asia." Mu Chi-Chi and Xing Xiao changed positions and faced Xing Bowen from the side. This was to prevent this person from taking advantage of her again. Xing Xiao knew that she felt sorry for him, so he quietly pinched Mu Chi-Chi's neck with his right hand to comfort her. Xing Bowen rubbed his nose and felt that he had gone a little overboard. Before he finished eating, he had already pulled Ren Yufei away from the Banyan courtyard. He ran away quickly. Mu Chi-Chi was angry. She had thought that Xing Bowen would be aware of it after this matter was settled. Who knew that he was really going to let go of it? After so many years, Huang Yao has its own system and regulations. Moreover, with Zhongting's team, I don't need to put in much effort. You don't need to put in much effort to come home an hour late every day. Mu Chi snorted. Forget it, third brother is an ingrate. Didn't you say that you wanted me to take care of it? Ha! Have you forgotten? Mu Chi turned around and looked at Xing Xiao. She replied very seriously, I was just saying. I thought that when third brother came back, the position of CEO would still be his. Xing Xiao saw that she was angry, so he leaned over and kissed her lips. Mu Chi was stunned for a moment and did not say anything. He used this trick every time. Forget it. It's good to go far away. Mu Chi sighed. After all, there was an unknown boss behind him who was eyeing the Shen and Xing families covetously. With his IQ, he can't even protect himself. Mu Chi expressed her disdain. Late at night, at the Tang family's home. Ever since Papa Feng left that day, the Feng family had never appeared in front of Feng Shanshan again. She and Tang Yan had thought that the Feng family had stopped and forgotten about her appearance. However, Feng Wen's appearance once again put Feng Shanshan in an awkward situation. Tang Yan was still at the branch office. When Feng Shanshan heard the doorbell, she thought it was her husband because Tang Yan did not bring his keys. However, when she opened the door and saw Feng Wen, the smile on her face disappeared. What? Aren't you going to invite me in? Feng Wen was 3 years older than Feng Shanshan. She liked to wear heavy makeup and had a unique personality. Moreover, she was holding a lady's cigarette in her hand. I can't have the smell of cigarettes in my house. Feng Shanshan rejected her clearly. Besides, I made it very clear at the company that day. I know you're pregnant, so you want to go back to the Feng family to fight for a place for the child. It's not that I'm unwilling to fulfill your wish. After all, you're father's biological daughter, so let's be frank. You can go back to the Feng family, but you have to give up your inheritance rights. Feng Wen did not force Feng Shanshan to let her enter the house. She did not care either. She was only here to make her position clear. Chapter 830. You suddenly found out that your father is so rich, and you're alone outside. You even married a poor police officer. Do you think I believe you? Feng Wen laughed mockingly. All these years, we've all done our best for Hanwen. Now, you're an outsider, but you want a share of the pie. If it were you, what would you do? Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. She regretted it 1,000 times. She really shouldn't have appeared in front of the Feng family. I can't explain it to you. Go back. Feng Shanshan didn't want to be in a deadlock with Feng Wen. However, Feng Wen grabbed her wrist. Don't be in a hurry to go in before I make it clear. I'm pregnant. So what if you're pregnant? Don't you just want to rely on your belly to fight for more benefits in front of Dad? Not only did Feng Wen not let go of Feng Shanshan, she even pulled her in front of her. What's so great about having the child of a lousy police officer? Feng Shanshan staggered and almost fell. Don't act pitiful in front of me. After Feng Shanshan steadied herself, she still had lingering fear. Just as she was about to hit her, Mu Chi was one step ahead of her. She grabbed Feng Wen's wrist from behind and slapped her. Are you still human? You even bully pregnant women. Feng Wen was stunned. She didn't expect Feng Shanshan to have a helper. Moreover, she was so strong. After pausing for 2 seconds, she suddenly wanted to fight back, but she was pressed against the wall by Mu Chi. She couldn't move at all. In the end, Mu Chi didn't train for nothing. Feng Shanshan, what's going on? She received Captain Tang's call and immediately rushed over. She didn't even have time to ask why. It's nothing. It's just the Feng family. Feng Shanshan glanced at Feng Wen and answered. Now that she thought about it, she was still afraid. The Feng family came here to cause trouble. They thought I wanted to share their property, Feng Shanshan explained weakly. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she loosened her grip and stood in front of Feng Shanshan. She doesn't care about your Feng family's money, so don't come again. Feng Wen covered her wrist that was red from Mu Qiqi's grip and looked at Feng Shanshan with resentment. Feng Shanshan, you hired a lot of people to help you put on an act. Mu Qiqi's spoiled temper almost made her want to hit her again, but she was stopped by Feng Shanshan. For my sake, there's no need for that. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and calmed down. She looked at Feng Wen and said, I'm advising you nicely now. The Feng family shouldn't push their luck and don't come to this place again. She's really not interested in your Feng family's things. If I see her again, I don't know what I'll do. What right do you have to interfere in the affairs of our Feng family? Feng Wen stood on the steps, the resentment and anger in her heart unabated. Her business is my business. If you really want to find someone to fight, come find me. My house is at 135 Banyan Courtyard. I'm waiting for you anytime. In the dark, Feng Wen did not look at Mu Qiqi carefully, but she really remembered number 135. Just you wait. I'm not going to sleep. I'm just waiting for you. After saying that, Mu Qiqi pulled Feng Shanshan into the house. You opened the door just because someone knocked. If Captain Tang hadn't installed surveillance cameras at home and informed me when he saw it, what would you have done? Tang Yan didn't bring his keys. I thought, in the future, no matter who it is, even if Captain Tang knocks on the door, you have to ask first. Mu Qiqi helped her sit on the sofa. Are you okay? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup? There's no need for that. Feng Shanshan shook her head. I'm just a little annoyed. They might come looking for trouble endlessly in the future. It's also my fault. I encouraged you to look for your family, it's not your fault. After all, you didn't know that that family was such a thing. Feng Shanshan shook her head at Mu Qiqi. This matter has to be resolved properly. You're pregnant now. You can't always be angry at this family. Mu Qiqi thought about finding a way for Feng Shanshan once and for all. Alright, I'm fine now. You can go back. Your CEO will come over later. Feng Shanshan urged Mu Qiqi. In fact, she was afraid that Mu Qiqi would be implicated, although she had never been afraid of being implicated. I'll leave when Captain Tang comes back. Mu Qiqi sat on the sofa and quickly fell into deep thought. Perhaps because he was worried about Feng Shanshan's safety, Tang Yan arrived home an hour later. When he entered and saw the two girls, Tang Yan's nervous expression became obvious. Are you all right? Feng Shanshan stood up and shook her head. Qiqi came just in time, nonsense. I ran all the way here. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. Since Captain Tang is back, I'll go back. You can't just open the door for everyone in the future. Remember. Got it. Don't be long-winded. Feng Shanshan quickly stopped Mu Qiqi. Otherwise, she could talk about this for a year. Do you want me to send you back? Tang Yan asked Mu Qiqi. No need. Master Xiao is on the way. Mu Qiqi quickly waved her hand. It was only a 10-minute walk. There was no need to send her back and forth. Actually, Tang Yan was afraid that Feng Wen would come back and cause trouble. However, Mu Qiqi had already left her house number. She was waiting for Feng Wen to come to her house. After Mu Qiqi left, Tang Yan hugged Feng Shanshan with lingering fear. Xiao Qi is right. Don't open the door so casually in the future. I've already learned my lesson, Feng Shanshan said seriously. I'm just afraid that there will be no end to it in the future. Tang Yan's eyes were immediately stained with a trace of black. If there was a next time, he would not let it go just like that. Even if it was this woman's family, he would not show mercy. The reason why the Feng family would not stop was because they knew that Tang Yan was just a lousy police officer. He had no power or influence. This was also the reason why they kept testing Feng Shanshan. If she had married a rich man, the Feng family would not have been worried that she would come back to snatch their things. However, she had married a poor man. Of course, the Feng family did not know about Tang Yan's relationship with the Shen family and Mu Qiqi. If they knew, would they still dare to be so rash? After returning home, Mu Qiqi sat on Xing Zhao's lap. I'm so angry. Xing Zhao glanced at her and did not say anything. He focused on the information in his hand. Xiao, the Feng family will still come looking for trouble. Mu Qiqi shook Xing Zhao's neck. Help me think of a way. What's your purpose in asking Feng Shanshan to acknowledge your father as her godfather? Xing Zhao was helpless against her shaking. He could only sigh and ask her. That's true. Then I'll find an opportunity to let them know that the goddaughter of the Shen family is not to be trifled with. I'll let the Feng family learn a lesson. At the mention of Qingbin, Xing Zhao's eyes were dyed with a different color. This person was probably not so easily intimidated. However, that might not be the case. Chapter 831. After Feng Wen left the Tang family, she actually went to find someone to settle the score with Mu Qiqi. However, when she led the four men in black to room 135, they were stopped outside the villa. Miss, visitors need to register. May I ask which family are you from? Number 135, Feng Wen deliberately lowered her head and said in a low voice. Then you need to show me your ID. The security guard immediately reached out and asked Feng Wen for her ID, but Feng Wen dodged him. Seeing that Feng Wen wasn't cooperating, the security guard explained, I'm sorry, Mississippi. You can't enter that area. Even if you don't show your ID now, you will still have to register after you go up because there are sentries on duty. Are you purposely picking on me? My sister is in that villa down there, so I came over. Miss, the area below is a low-end villa district, while the area above is a high-end villa district. There's a difference. If you can't provide your identification, we won't let you in. The people living in that area are all big shots. We can't afford to offend them, a big shot. Feng Wen heard these three words. Number 135, what kind of big shot lives there? The CEO of Zhongting is not a big shot. Mayor Shen's niece was not a big shot. Miss, are you here to make trouble? Feng Wen was deliberately trying to get information out of her. Don't blame her for not knowing who Mu Qiqi was. She rarely read gossip and only knew how to work all day. That's enough, Mississippi. Please go back. Of course, Feng Wen couldn't teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. At the same time, she had a question in her heart. How could a person like Feng Shanshan know such a big shot? What number 135? Maybe it was just a facade that the girl had made up to make her feel fearful. However, Feng Wen was not the kind of person who believed in heresy. The security guard saw that Feng Wen was behaving strangely and had brought a few men with her, so he immediately called Mama Xing. After Mama Xing heard that, she went upstairs and asked Mu Qiqi, Chief, the security guard at the door called. There's a woman in a brown trench coat coming to our house with 4 men. Do you know them? Mommy, I don't know him, Mu Qiqi blurted out. But after 2 seconds, she realized what she meant. Mommy, I know who it is. If she guessed correctly, it was Feng Wen. He wanted to take revenge on her for that slap, but he didn't expect that he couldn't even enter the villa. Did she think that the banyan courtyard was so easy to get into? It was also because of Feng Wen's actions that Muchichi knew that the Feng family would definitely not let Feng Shanshan go. She had to think of a way to make the Feng family completely give up on Feng Shanshan. After Feng Wen returned home, she was pulled aside by her mother and asked, "Did you cause trouble for Feng Shanshan?" "I didn't manage to gain any advantage. That bitch is too calculative. She's surrounded by inferior helpers." Whenever Feng Wen thought about how she had been slapped, she would feel very unhappy. She had actually been slapped by someone like Feng Shanshan. Don't look for trouble with her in the future. If your father finds out, there won't be any benefits, Mama Feng advised. However, their conversation was overheard by the servants at home and eventually reached Papa Feng's ears. When Papa Feng returned home, he flew into a rage. "Shanshan, no matter what, she's your sister. Do you have the cheek to cause trouble for a pregnant woman?" "Dad, I just wanted to persuade her to go home. I didn't cause trouble for her." After Papa Feng heard this, his expression softened, but he didn't fall for it. "I know very well what you're thinking. Feng Wen, you won't be that kind." Feng Wen opened her mouth and wanted to explain, but Papa Feng wouldn't believe her. "In 2 days, I'll bring Shanshan out for dinner. Apologize to her in person." Feng Wen looked at Papa Feng in disbelief. She felt wronged. "Dad, for an outsider." "She's not an outsider. She's your sister." Papa Feng lost his temper. "If you don't want to apologize, then leave this house. Anyway, I still have a son." Feng Wen was so angry that she locked herself in her room. When Mama Feng saw this, she sighed. She had clearly agreed to get Feng Shanshan back home before dealing with her. She was right under her nose, and she was pregnant. It was better to deal with her outside, but this child couldn't hold back. Then, Mama Feng walked up to her husband and said to him, "Feng Wen is just feeling sorry for you. Her daughter is filial. However, since you want Shanshan to go home, you have to apologize. I'll make arrangements to invite Shanshan over. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Feng Wen this time and let her get along well with her sister." Papa Feng nodded in satisfaction. "Then give me Shanshan's phone number." The next morning, Feng Shanshan received a call from Mama Feng. Feng Shanshan had no desire to speak at all. She wanted to hang up, but she was stopped by the other party. "Shanshan, Auntie sincerely wants to treat you to a meal. Your father will go too. He'll ask your sister to apologize to you properly." "There's no need. As long as you don't disturb me, it'll be the greatest apology you can give me. Shanshan, if you don't agree to Auntie's request, your father will think that Auntie isn't doing her job well. In the end, she still has to go to your house to bother you. Tell me, why do you have to do this?" Feng Shanshan could tell that the other party was threatening her. Even so, she still didn't want to see the Feng family. "There's really no need." Mama Feng was rebuffed, but she wasn't angry because she had called Feng Shanshan in front of Papa Feng. It was this girl who didn't know what was good for her. Papa Feng was silent for a while before he finally said, "I'll go to Shanshan's house again tonight." Perhaps, in Papa Feng's heart, he still remembered that he had such a daughter, and that she was suffering outside. Mama Feng and Feng Wen, on the other hand, were planning to deal with the situation nearby. The whole family had their own thoughts, but none of them had any good intentions. After Feng Shanshan hung up on Mama Feng, she called Muchichi again. After Muchichi heard this, she smiled. "What a good opportunity. I was still thinking about how to set up a trap. Now, I've saved my energy. What do you want to do?" "Of course, let the Feng family know that you don't like their things at all." Agree to them. Don't implicate Godfather and Second Uncle Shin. I don't want to use their name to cause trouble outside, Feng Shanshan said to Muchichi seriously. You're not allowed to mess around either. Am I the kind of person who messes around? Muchichi chuckled and instructed her, go for the prenatal checkup properly. Don't think about anything else. If your father asks you to go for a meal, go. Just send me the address and time later. Don't be afraid of anything, understand? Why are you so good to me? Chapter 832. Besides, there's no need to bring Dad and Second Uncle out to deal with the Feng family. Master Xiao and I will be enough. After saying that, Muchichi hung up. Then, Feng Shanshan returned Mama Feng's call and agreed to eat. She really did not want to see Papa Feng appear at her doorstep again. Then I'll book a seat and send you the time and address. Feng Shanshan nodded indifferently. A moment later, a new policewoman from the station arrived. Hello, sister-in-law. My surname is Xing. You can call me Xiao. Xing boss can't leave, so he asked me to accompany you to the prenatal checkup. Actually, I can go alone. Feng Shanshan was a little embarrassed. After all, she felt bad for always mobilizing so many people. The girl called Xiao Xing shook her head like a rattle drum. Boss said that I have to follow you even when you go to the toilet to ensure your safety. If I can't even do this task well, then I'll go home and eat by myself. Then I'll have to trouble you. Feng Shanshan thanked her and went back to her room to get her bag. Then, she went to the hospital with Xiao Xing. Song Qiaoji saw that Feng Shanshan was always accompanied by people, so she smiled. It's a little girl today. Dr. Song, please excuse me. My husband is worried about my safety, so he's troubling Xiao Xing. He's doting on you. Look at the hospital. How many pregnant women come to the prenatal checkup on their own? He's a good man. Song Qiaoji looked at the checkup report while touching Feng Shanshan's slightly protruding abdomen. I'll say it again. Pay attention to your mood. It's not good to be depressed. I'll pay attention. In a few days, I'll have a lecture at the medical university. If you have time, come and listen. It's good for pregnant women. Of course, it would be even better if the child's father can attend. Song Qiaoji handed the flyer to Feng Shanshan. Thank you, Dr. Song. I'll definitely go when I have time. You're welcome. Song Qiaoji did not show any abnormalities, but she had already started to invite Feng Shanshan. In other words, she did not know which event in the future, Feng Shanshan, might be schemed against. That evening, Muchichi received the hotel address and meal time from Feng Shanshan. After putting away the phone, Muchichi's eyes lit up with excitement. Xiao, let's go to Jinrong Manor for dinner tomorrow night. I heard that they advocate vegetarianism and are very popular recently. I haven't been there yet. Xing Xiao snorted softly and said nothing. Was his objection useful? Moreover, this thing had never been a vegetarian. It only liked to eat meat. It's fine this time, but do you think you can protect her forever? If I can protect him once, I will. Muchichi sat on Xing Xiao's lap and shook his shoulders. I only have these two friends. With you by my side, I don't lack anything, and I won't be in danger. So, I can only do more for my friends. She's pregnant. You can't expect me to sit back and do nothing, right? Xing Xiao reached out and hugged Muchichi. Love was always above feelings. No matter what kind of feeling it was. I'll get Su Che to book a table. Thank you, Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao frowned. He was only 30 years old, and he was already at the stage where he had to be called a master. Then, he pulled Muchichi over. You want to leave after taking advantage of me? Mu Qiqi shook her head and quickly said, I've been feeling bloated for the past few days. It's not very comfortable. Xing Xiao thought about it carefully. These few days should be her menstrual cycle. She had always been punctual, but she had not come yet. Let's go to the hospital tomorrow. Xing Xiao reached out and caressed Mu Qiqi's abdomen. Mu Qiqi felt the warmth of Xing Xiao's palm and felt much more comfortable. No need. Isn't it my menstrual cycle soon? It'll be strange before I come. Moreover, tomorrow's classes are very important. I won't delay it. Xing Xiao put her down from his lap and suddenly remembered that they did not use contraceptives that night when Xing Bowen brought Mu Qiqi to Mount Yueying. At the thought of this, Xing Xiao's emotions became much more complicated. It was just that Mu Qiqi did not notice. When he returned to the room, Mu Qiqi had already taken a shower and was lying on the bed. Xing Xiao saw her shaking her legs, so he stepped forward and covered them for her. What's wrong? It's almost June. I'm not cold. Mu Qiqi was a little puzzled by Xing Xiao's actions. If it were any other day, she would have been pressed down on the bed to fix her posture. Today, Xiao Xiao did not seem to have any such thoughts at all. After taking a shower, remember to dry the water stains on your body. Master Xiao, you're very strange tonight. Mu Qiqi was puzzled. Xing Xiao did not explain why and went into the bathroom. When he came out, Mu Qiqi was already asleep on the bed. It was obvious that she had been in class recently and was very tired. Xing Xiao sat on the edge of the bed, lifted the blanket, and put Mu Qiqi in. Seeing that she showed no signs of waking up, he stared at her abdomen. He hoped that he was overthinking. The next day, Tang Yan was about to go out with his keys. When Feng Shanshan saw him open the car door, she called out to him. Dinner at Jinrong Manor at 6:30 p.m. Don't forget. Tang Yan closed the car door and returned to Feng Shanshan's side. He kissed her forehead. I'll pick you up at home at 5. Aren't you busy at the bureau? No matter how busy I am, I have to make time to accompany you. If he did not protect his own woman, was he really going to place his hopes on someone else every time? Feng Shanshan did not say anything and watched Tang Yan drive away. She had no power or influence, and no one in the Feng family was on her side. Therefore, when she went to the Feng family this time, other than causing trouble, it seemed that she would only bring embarrassment to Tang Yan. At 6:00 in the evening, Jinrong Manor. The Feng family had already arrived at the restaurant's private room. However, Feng Wen had been silent ever since she'd entered the restaurant. When Shanshan comes later, apologize to your sister, Papa Feng said to Feng Wen. His words were commanding and there was no room for negotiation. Feng Wen did not say anything, but she vented all her anger on the tea set. And you, if Shanshan comes home, promise me that you'll take good care of her. I owe her too much. Papa Feng turned his head and said to his wife, Where's Xiaowei? Xiaowei is still on the way. She'll be here soon. Mama Feng answered with a smile, trying her best to look graceful and elegant. In a while, I'll also persuade Shanshan. There's no need to pester the poor police officer. Papa Feng did not like Tang Yan at all. He only felt that his daughter could find a better home. What was the point of following this man who ran to murder scenes all day? At 6:30 p.m., Feng Shanshan and Tang Yan also arrived at the private room. Papa Feng did not want to have a strained relationship with his daughter from the start, so he ignored Tang Yan. Chapter 833. Shanshan, come and sit down, Papa Feng greeted her lovingly. However, Feng Shanshan sat down at the door. Tang Yan took the opportunity to sit beside her. You're welcome, Mr. Feng. Why aren't you calling me Daddy? Papa Fong was rather unhappy. I know. 2 days ago, your sister went over and made you suffer. I've also taught her a lesson. Fong Wen, apologize to your sister. When Fong Wen was called, she stood up abruptly and glared at Fong Shanshan. She said to Fong Shanshan dryly, I'm sorry. There's no point in apologizing unwillingly. Besides, if my friend hadn't come over that day, I don't know if the child in my stomach and I would still be here. Fong Shanshan looked at Fong Wen coldly. Let's be honest with each other. If you don't want to apologize, I don't want to accept your apology. That's great. Fong Wen sat down angrily. Shanshan, we're all family. If there's a misunderstanding, just solve it. There's no misunderstanding. Fong Shanshan interrupted Papa Fong. Mr. Fong, you probably misunderstood. The reason I appeared in the Fong family wasn't to ask you for money. I just naively thought that I still had family and kinship. However, the attitude of the Fong family also made me realize that I shouldn't have appeared in front of you and caused myself so much trouble. If it wasn't for the money, why did you take Dad's check? Fong Wen questioned. I found the charity the next day. Now, I'm just waiting to sign the donation letter. It can be considered as doing good for the Fong family, Fong Shanshan said calmly. Besides, after so many years, he knows better than me whether the living expenses that Mr. Fong has sent over have been passive. Papa Fong did not say anything, but his expression was extremely ugly. I have no intention of disturbing you, so I don't want to continue being your family. Just pretend that you've never seen me and give us a way out. Fong Wen's expression was extremely sarcastic because she did not believe a single word Fong Shanshan said. You're making it sound nice now. Now that you know that Dad is the CEO of the Hanwen Group, who knows if you'll use your identity as the second daughter of the Hanwen Group to seek benefits in the future. Especially since isn't your husband a police officer? If you have power and influence, you'll be promoted faster. After hearing Fong Wen's words, Fong Shanshan laughed out loud. In my heart, I've never taken the Hanwen Group seriously. You don't take it seriously. What about your husband? Fong Wen's words were mocking Tang Yan, which was what Fong Shanshan could not stand the most. Humiliating her husband was equivalent to slapping her in the face. Seeing that she didn't look good, Tang Yan wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Fong Shanshan. This was her family. No, this family was only related to her by blood, so she didn't want Tang Yan to waste his energy on this family. My husband has no interest in currying favor with you. Even if he does, you're not qualified, Fong Shanshan said sarcastically. Who does he think he is? Shanshan, it's not that I'm scolding you, but you're still young. You can still find better happiness. Papa Fong took the opportunity to join in. It's not that I dislike your husband, but his job is so dangerous. How can he take care of you and the child? Fong Shanshan finally understood. It seemed that the Fongs were not going to talk nicely. You don't have to worry about that, Fong Shanshan replied coldly. The purpose of my visit today is to tell you that in the future, we'll pretend that we don't know each other. This is the best outcome. Everyone will be satisfied. Seeing that Fong Shanshan was angry, Tang Yan held her hand and reminded her not to be angry. Then, his calm voice sounded at the dining table. Although I don't have any background, I'm not completely helpless. It's enough to give Shanshan the life she wants. With just you. A poor police officer. With just me, a poor police officer, Tang Yan said firmly. Your Hanwen has encountered a tax problem recently, right? The director of the tax bureau over there is my senior. Tang Yan's words were unhurried, but it shocked the Fongs. Especially Papa Fong. It was certain that the tax problem this time would be investigated. However, He did not expect that this poor police son-in-law would know about it. I won't make things difficult for you, and the Fengs shouldn't make things difficult for us either. Shanshan and I just want to live peacefully. We don't want the Fengs to disturb us again. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll say or do to my senior. After all, we have a good relationship. Tang Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, but they were always accurate and effective. Papa Feng immediately fell silent. You're threatening me. So, when you're being given face, you should take it back. Tang Yan retorted coldly. You're Hanwen, to put it bluntly, don't you know what kind of status you have in Jianchuan? Don't think that everyone you see is interested in your money. You. Who do you think you are? Are you lecturing us here? Feng Wen pointed at Tang Yan's nose and scolded. It seems that the Fengs want to drink tea. If you have the ability, go ahead and sue them. I don't believe that a poor police officer like you can be brothers with the people from the tax bureau. Then we'll see. After saying that, Tang Yan looked at Feng Shanshan and asked her gently, do you want to leave? Chi-Chi is waiting for us on the other side, Feng Shanshan replied. Let's go now. After saying that, the two of them stood up and walked to the room next door. At this moment, Feng Wen was so angry that she went crazy. Two pretentious people. What the hell? Dad, just you wait and see. What people from the tax bureau? It's all a lie. Previously, Feng Shanshan even said that she knew the mayor's niece. Papa Feng did not say anything, but his face was livid. Xiao Wen, stop talking. Accompany Mom to the bathroom. Mama Feng could see Feng Shanshan and Feng Wen from her position. She went to the room opposite. Therefore, she wanted to know who was on the other side. Feng Wen stood up unwillingly and accompanied Mama Feng out of the private room. When they reached the corridor, Mama Feng saw Su Che and the bodyguards at the door. She asked about the service in the private room. Young lady, who are the big shots inside? They even brought a few bodyguards. Oh, it's President Xing and his wife from Zhongteng, who is Mayor Shin's niece. Then who are the two people who went in just now? I'm not sure either, but the two families are very close. When Mama Feng heard this, her expression changed. Then, she turned to look at Feng Wen. Could it be that Feng Shanshan is really related to the Shin family? Feng Wen shook her head, indicating that she was not sure either. Who knows? If they are really related to the Xing family and the Shin family, then your father will definitely scold you to death when he finds out. Chapter 834. What's the big deal? Mom, it's fine as long as you don't tell Dad. With that, the mother and daughter went to the bathroom. When they returned, Feng Wei was already there. When the mother and daughter sat down, Feng Wei said, "Where's second sister? Didn't you say you're having dinner with her?" "What second sister?" "She said she doesn't like our family at all." Feng Wen snorted, feeling extremely unhappy. Isn't that normal? Second sister has such a good relationship with Zhongteng. It's normal for her to not like us, Feng Wei answered casually. Besides, I heard from the grapevine that Mayor Shin's family has already accepted second sister as their goddaughter. Of course, they don't need to care about poor relatives like us now. After hearing Feng Wei's words, even Papa Feng revealed a surprised expression. Tell me clearly, what's going on? Don't you read the gossip news? Second sister and Mu Chi-Chi. Xing Zhao's women are very close sisters. Perhaps they want to be closer, so second sister acknowledged Mu Chi-Chi's father as her godfather. Now, she's like a family with the Shin family. Feng Wei explained as he ate. It's all your fault. You're so engrossed in your work. Why don't you pay attention to the interesting things in the same city? After Papa Feng and the other two heard this, they felt very complicated. Feng Wen and her mother were even more embarrassed and angry because Feng Shanshan really didn't like the Feng family. It was not that she was pretending, but she really didn't like it. Then, her husband. I don't know about that. It said that he's very famous in the police world. Feng Wei was only an 18-year-old boy. He usually went to school, but he liked to interact with girls, so he heard a lot of gossip. People like Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi were popular in Jianchuan, okay? The people around them would naturally be mentioned. The three of them stopped talking. They didn't know what to say. The family was no longer in the mood to eat. They could only wait for Feng Wei to wolf down his food. Now, there was only one thought in Papa Feng's mind. If what Tang Yan said about the tax bureau was true, then, before Feng Wei finished eating, he saw a group of people coming out of the opposite room. It was Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan. No matter how slow Papa Feng was, it was impossible for him not to recognize Xing Xiao. In fact, the two women were walking in front while Xing Xiao and Tang Yan were walking side by side behind them. The scene of the four of them was very beautiful, but this scene made Papa Feng feel very uncomfortable because he knew that he had offended the so-called poor son-in-law. As for Feng Wen, although she felt very unwilling, she also knew how unreachable these people were. Therefore, she no longer doubted Feng Shanshan's words, nor would she look for trouble with Feng Shanshan. Among the four of them, only Mama Feng was terrified because she saw the change in her husband's expression. Then, when she mentioned paying the bill, she was told, "Madam, the customer opposite has already paid the bill for you. Furthermore, he left a message for you. If you bully others, you will have to pay the price." This. We don't know. Mama Feng was at a loss. Go home. Papa Feng took a deep breath. He knew that his relationship with Feng Shanshan could not be salvaged. However, he was worried about the tax issue. From the moment he found out about Tang Yan and Feng Shanshan's identities, he began to tremble in fear. At this moment, Feng Wen did not say anything. She could only remain silent because she knew that if she spoke, Papa Feng would definitely settle the score with her about finding trouble with Feng Shanshan. On the other side, Mu Qiqi and the other three changed places to eat. This was because Mu Qiqi finally realized that people could not be vegetarians. If it were me, I wouldn't pay for that family's sake. Mu Qiqi felt that Feng Shanshan's money had been spent unjustly. I hope they know what's good for them. With the two of you revealing your identities, that family can only admit defeat, Feng Shanshan said with a smile. Feng Shanshan smiled. I thought you were going to think of some tricks to humiliate that family. To deal with those self-righteous people, you just need to let them know that they're really nothing. That's the best punishment. If the Feng family still has face, they won't disturb you again. Mu Qiqi snorted. I don't think they will. After Feng Shanshan said that, she subconsciously looked at Tang Yan. You've been wronged. Tang Yan had been silent, but he held Feng Shanshan's hand tightly and said, Your father is right. But I have nothing, and I have a big family's trouble. I don't care. I don't care either. Feng Shanshan quickly added, afraid that Tang Yan would misunderstand. Then, about the tax bureau. Wait for a good show tomorrow. He was indeed just a lousy police officer. Moreover, he had no power or influence. However, over the years, he had built up a lot of connections and friends. It was naturally impossible for him to deal with a company like Zhongteng, but it was not a problem for him to deal with Hanwen. Moreover, there was a problem with Hanwen itself. That's good too. Let that family look down on you. Speaking of Tang Yan's background, if his parents were still alive, he would be a director or something like that by now. Even so, although his parents had passed away, his influence was still there. It was not difficult for him to get something done. Then, the four of them went to another German restaurant. When Mu-Chi-Chi saw the steak, her eyes lit up. "This is what you call dinner." Feng Shanshan laughed silently, especially when she saw Mu-Chi-Chi cutting the steak. It was so neat and thick that it really made one's imagination run wild. "Seeing you cut it like this, I've lost my appetite. I can't help it. It's an occupational disease." Mu-Chi-Chi expressed that she could eat very well. Xing Xiao and Tang Yan looked at each other. The two men did not say anything. That night, the two men were just going through the motions, especially Xing Xiao. Actually, there was no need for him to come personally. As long as Mu-Chi-Chi announced his man's name, the Feng family would still be afraid. "We've achieved our goal. Can we stop for a few days?" Mu-Chi-Chi tilted her head and looked at Xing Xiao with a smile. "When will I stop?" Xing Xiao really wanted to grab her and beat her up, but it was not appropriate for him to do so in public. "It's rare that it's just the few of us. Let's drink some wine," Mu-Chi-Chi suggested, but Tang Yan and Xing Xiao rejected her in unison. "No need. No need. Shanshan is pregnant. I still have to take care of the pregnant woman." Mu-Chi-Chi could accept this reason. After all, it was Tang Yan. But what about Xing Xiao? Mu-Chi-Chi looked at him, not understanding. "You should rest early tonight." Mu-Chi-Chi clicked her tongue. The two of them had always slept at 11 o'clock at home. It was not even 8 o'clock yet. Chapter 835. On the way home after the small gathering, Feng Shanshan kept staring at Tang Yan. Perhaps Tang Yan knew what she was thinking, so he waited until he entered the door before saying to her, "I don't mind." "But I mind." Feng Shanshan hugged him and said, "My husband is not a lousy police officer. In my heart, you're a hero. No one has the right to look down on you because you've made an indelible contribution to the stability and prosperity of this city. Isn't that enough?" Tang Yan smiled. "I don't mind what others think of me. I just want you not to be bullied by anyone." Feng Shanshan leaned into Tang Yan's arms and couldn't help but get angry with him. Tang Yan's voice immediately became hoarse. He held her hand and didn't let her move. "I'll hurt you. Just be careful. Dr. Song told me that it won't be a problem after 3 months. If you can't help it, it's fine." When Tang Yan saw Feng Shanshan blushing, he knew that she was angry. She was pregnant and it was not easy to vent, so he carried the woman to the bed and carefully tried to please her. After she was released, he immediately went to the bathroom and took a cold shower. Feng Shanshan couldn't bear to see him like this. Why was this man so stupid? "You don't have to do this, no, for the sake of you and the child." He could endure it, although a certain part of him was unreasonably firm. It was also late at night. After Mu-Chi-Chi took a shower, she climbed onto Xing Xiao's legs as usual. However, Xing Xiao held her hands down. "Sleep early tonight." Mu-Chi-Chi finally understood what was going on. This person had been avoiding her since last night and was still unwilling to touch her today. What's wrong? It was easy for the little thing to notice the sudden estrangement. After all, she knew what Xing Xiao's words and actions meant. Xing Xiao put down the document and sat up straight. Then, he looked at the little thing seriously. "Think about it yourself. What time should it be these few days?" Mu-Chi-Chi thought about it. Logically speaking, these few days should be her menstrual period. She had always been punctual. However, it was already 2 days late and she still hadn't come. Her entire body trembled. "You mean, Mu-Chi-Chi looked down at her lower abdomen. White and smooth, without a trace of fat. Could it be that there was a little life inside? After all, that night on Mount Yueying, Master Xiao did not use any contraceptives and did not let her take any medicine. Although Fifth Aunt had been nursing her, there were always exceptions, right? At that thought, Mu Qiqi's mood suddenly became very complicated. Looking into Xing Zhao's eyes, she said seriously, "Why don't we go by a pregnancy test?" Xing Zhao pursed his lips tightly. He never thought that he would make such a mistake again. Seeing that he was unmoved, Mu Qiqi immediately slid down from his lap and went back to the bedroom to change her clothes. Xing Zhao got up and followed Mu Qiqi without saying a word. When he saw that Mu Qiqi was about to leave with her wallet, he grabbed her wrist. "I'll go. Let's go together." Mu Qiqi looked into Xing Zhao's eyes seriously. Xing Zhao could not refuse, so he held Mu Qiqi's hand and went downstairs together. Mama Xing asked casually when she saw them going out so late at night. "Mom, you guys go to sleep first. There's something on Shanshan's side. I'll go over and take a look." Mama Xing did not suspect anything. After watching TV with Papa Xing, they went back to their room to rest. In fact, it was already 10:00 at night. At this time, there were very few pharmacies that were open. Xing Zhao drove Mu Qiqi to several places. Finally, they stopped in front of a 24-hour pharmacy. Mu Qiqi tilted her head to look at Xing Zhao and said, "I'll go. It's not convenient for a man like you." Xing Zhao held Mu Qiqi's hand and got out of the car. At this time, who cared if he was a man or not? Xing Zhao entered the pharmacy and bought all the pregnancy test papers. There were all kinds of them. Mu Qiqi was a little embarrassed when she saw the big bag full of them. Actually, just a few of them are enough. Buy them and prepare them. Mu Qiqi did not say anything else. In fact, her mind was in a mess, especially when she saw Xing Zhao's unhappy expression. Could it be that her pregnancy was a burden to him? The two of them carried the things home. Then, Xing Zhao took out several types of test papers and handed them to Mu Qiqi. Go! Mu Qiqi's emotions were very complicated. Who would test 5 or 6 at once? If I really have it. Go first. Xing Zhao sent her into the bathroom and closed the door. Mu Qiqi held the test papers. Her head was empty and very swollen. She had been envious of Feng Shanshan before, but when it was really her turn, she was nervous and began to be suspicious. Then, she opened the 5 boxes of pregnancy tests and checked them according to the instructions. After a while, she lined up the 5 pregnancy tests in a row and squatted on the toilet to observe them carefully. A minute later, there was a subtle change in her expression. "Are you done?" All the pregnancy tests had 2 red lines on them. She was pregnant. She was pregnant with Xing Zhao's child. However, she felt that Xing Zhao did not seem happy. So, when Xing Zhao asked, she did not know how to answer. Especially since she was afraid that Xing Zhao would ask her not to have their child. So, Mu Qiqi did not say anything for a long time until Xing Zhao opened the bathroom door. His gaze swept across the items on the sink, and he understood what was going on. However, his expressionless face fell into Mu Qiqi's eyes. "Come out. The toilet is cold." Xing Zhao reached out to hug her. Mu Qiqi felt a little sad. She wrapped her arms around Xing Zhao's neck and said, "You're not happy. You, Xing Zhao, let me tell you. If you ask me to abort our child, between us, I'll ignore you for the rest of my life." Mu Qiqi could not say anything too decisive because she was afraid that Xing Zhao would take it seriously. "You're in school now. You're not even 22 years old. So what? The child is already in my stomach. You're not allowed to say no. Mu Qiqi was anxious and struggled in Xing Xiao's arms. Let's go for a good checkup tomorrow to make sure, Xing Xiao said calmly as he put her on the bed. Mu Qiqi saw that he did not seem happy at all, so she became depressed. I know you don't want children now, but I'm already pregnant. This is our child. What about school? I can take a year off, Mu Qiqi answered without thinking. You have to bring a child with you wherever you go in the future. Chapter 836. You can go this crazy for me. Xing Xiao stood in front of Mu Qiqi, slightly resigned to his fate. Do you know how much harm it will do to my body if I abort the child? Of course, Xing Xiao knew that he was just angry at himself. I just don't want you to take care of a child at such a young age. You still have a lot of youth to enjoy. Mu Qiqi did not answer him. She just grabbed his warm hand and placed it on her lower abdomen. She said to him, "Feel it. This is our child. Not to mention that I'm not even 22 years old now. Even if I'm only 20 years old, I'll still want it. This is our child. I can't bear to abort it." Xing Xiao slowly pulled her into his arms. What should I do with you? Just listen to me. I want to give birth to the child. This is our child. At this moment, Mu Qiqi's tone was very firm and full of hope. If it were any other woman at this age, the first thing she would consider would be her studies, her future, and even that she would not be able to live freely in the future. She would feel that her life was completely bound by the child. However, Mu Qiqi was not afraid of these problems at all. She insisted that this was their child. Of course, Xing Xiao could not bear to hurt her body, but he did not want her to be tied up by the child and make such a huge sacrifice for him. So, Xing Xiao could not sleep that night. In his 30-year-old life, this was the only thing that could make him stay up all night. There was only guilt and heartache left in his heart. The next day, Mu Qiqi woke up in Xing Xiao's arms. Seeing his tired eyes, she could not help but reach out and touch the corner of his eyebrows. Haven't you thought it through? You can continue thinking, but I won't abort the child. I know I'm still young, but I've thought about it many times in my mind. After the child is born, whether it will be a boy or a girl, whether it will look like you or me. I think it's a very magical thing because it means that we will never be able to part with each other. Xiao Xiao, let's keep this child, okay? Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just leaned close to the little one's eyebrows and kissed her gently. I've already asked Su Che to make an appointment. We'll go for a checkup together later to confirm it. Promise me that you won't not want the child. Of course I want it. I want you and the child. Because abortion was extremely harmful to the mother's body, even though Xing Xiao had doubts and his heart ached, one night of thinking was enough for him to think clearly about the direction of the future. Mu Qiqi was finally relieved when she received this answer. She quickly reached out and hugged Xing Xiao. Master Xiao, you're going to be a father. Xiao did not feel that. This was because the child was too young. Xing Xiao did not believe it. Xing of Xiao Xiao did not believe because of this. Xiao, carry me up. Mu Qiqi leaned into his arms and whined. Xiao of Xiao, Mu Qiqi of Xiao of Xiao of the Xiao of Qiqi. You. Mu, of. Mu Qiqi smiled when she felt that she was surrounded by a tall figure. She felt very warm. We'll wash up like this from now on. It's very safe. Xing Xiao rinsed his mouth with his right hand while his left hand wrapped around Mu Qiqi's neck. When they were done washing up, Xing Xiao turned Mu Qiqi around and instructed her carefully, since you're pregnant, you can't be like before. You have to walk carefully and be careful when you use knives. I'll help you apply for a leave of absence from school. You can't smell those strange smells and poisonous gases anymore." At that, Muchichi wrapped her arms around his neck and nodded firmly. "Yes, sir." They had not gone to the hospital for a checkup, so Xingxiao did not tell his family about it. While the two of them were washing up, a small episode happened. At about 8:30 a.m., the Hanwen group welcomed the police. Papa Feng could not help but tremble. When Feng Wen saw this, she did not dare to make a sound. How could she have known that the lousy police officer that her whole family despised would actually be related to someone from the tax bureau? "I'm sorry, Chairman Feng. I'll have to trouble you to make a trip," the leading police officer said to Papa Feng. When Papa Feng heard this, he felt his vision turn black and he collapsed to the ground. At 9:00 in the morning, Xingxiao brought Muchichi to the obstetrics and gynecology hospital. When the doctor saw that she was so young, she smiled. "You've decided to be a mother at such a young age. Do you like children?" "I don't like other people's children. I like my own," Muchichi answered in a relaxed tone. "Go in. The doctor will give you a good checkup." The kind-looking doctor arranged all the checkup items for Muchichi. Xingxiao was waiting outside the door. When Su Che saw this, he could roughly guess what was going on. "Is young madam pregnant?" "In the future. I'll leave her safety to you." Xingxiao looked at Su Che solemnly. "I don't trust anyone else." "Okay." Su Che only had one word for it. It was difficult for Xingxiao to say the word trust. Therefore, Su Che swore in his heart that he would never let down the president's trust in his life. A moment later, it was time for the ultrasound. Xingxiao followed her into the ultrasound room. Muchichi was lying on the bed. Xingxiao saw the cold instrument moving around Muchichi's abdomen. In the middle of her womb, there was a small dot. It was their crystallization. "Congratulations. The baby is 40 days old. It's this small dot. It will quickly grow in your stomach." Muchichi's eyes turned red because this time, she confirmed that she was pregnant with Xiao Zhao's baby. "You're still new parents, so go back and read more parenting books. The things to take note of are also in the books. Congratulations." After the checkup, Muchichi pulled down her clothes and patted her abdomen. It was in this place that her and Xiao Zhao's baby were contained. When Xingxiao saw her like this, a corner of his heart seemed to be tugged fiercely. Then, he picked her up. "Xiao, I'm really pregnant." "Really? Silly thing. This is the first photo of the baby." Muchichi held it in her hand and couldn't close the corners of her mouth. "I really want to tell the world. You can't tell anyone except your family," Xingxiao reminded her. "In the future, you have to go to dangerous places less. And don't get close to dangerous people. I'm a father now. My mouth is also full of nonsense." Muchichi was in Xingxiao's arms excitedly. "Xiao, are you happy that I'm pregnant?" "Is that so?" "Yes." Xingxiao answered coolly. At this time, men hid their feelings deep in their hearts. It was impossible for them to say it out loud. "Are you really happy?" Xingxiao did not answer this time. He just hugged Muchichi even tighter. Muchichi smiled, satisfied. This damn man only knew how to act cool. "I'll go to your school in the afternoon. You can rest at home." "Okay." Muchichi answered secretly because she was still a little reluctant. But it was okay. After giving birth to the baby, she could still go back and continue doing what she liked. Chapter 837. Muchichi wanted to take a leave of absence, and Xingxiao personally went to the school to handle the procedures for her. This surprised the dean. CEO Xing, Chi-Chi has been studying well. Why is it so sudden? She's sick and needs to rest. Xing Xiao did not mention the pregnancy. After all, he was already worried about this precious treasure of his before she was pregnant. Now that she was pregnant, her safety was even more of a headache. If it's very serious, then she does need to rest. I really didn't expect such an outstanding child like Chi-Chi. The dean could not help but sigh. No, it should be said that it was a pity. When she recovers, she will come back. Feng Shanshan had left, and now Mu Chi-Chi had left. Although the dean felt that it was a pity, there was nothing he could do. Also, I hope that you can handle this matter in a low-key manner. Okay, I understand. The dean nodded in understanding. Mu Chi-Chi was a famous person to begin with. If she suddenly did not come to class, it would definitely cause criticism from others. Don't worry, CEO Xing. Xing Xiao personally settled the matter before returning to Zhongting. He asked his secretary to spare 2 days. After giving instructions, he brought Su Che back to the banyan courtyard. Papa Xing was working in Zhongting. Mama Xing and fifth aunt were preparing lunch at home. When they saw Xing Xiao, they were a little surprised. Eighth brother, you rarely come back at noon. Xing Xiao did not answer his mother's question. Instead, he turned to fifth aunt and said, don't prepare any ingredients that are not good for pregnant women. CEO Xing, are you going to give Miss Feng a tonic? Fifth aunt misunderstood. It's Xing Xiao answered, standing at the entrance of the kitchen. Then, he saw the 2 women in the house petrified. Mama Xing immediately reacted. Eighth brother, do you mean that Chi-Chi is pregnant? I went for a checkup this morning. It's been more than a month, Xing Xiao answered calmly. When Mama Xing saw this, she pushed him to the side and said, are you serious? Usually, looking at you, I thought you would have to wait a few more years. Why is it so sudden? Although it's an accident, don't you want a grandson? Xing Xiao frowned slightly when he saw Mama Xing's strange attitude. What are you saying? You bastard. I just feel that it's unfair for Chi-Chi to be a mother at such a young age. Mama Xing couldn't help but hit her son. Since you have it, of course it's the family's treasure. Mom, Chi-Er really cares about this child. Help her. She doesn't care about the child. She cares about you. Do you think women like to have children? Isn't it all for the man she loves? She wants the 2 of them to have the crystallization of their love. Mama Xing rolled her eyes at him. You should also treat Chi-Chi well. She's your flesh and blood. Love her well. I know. No one else knows about this, right? Mama Xing asked him. Since he just came back from the hospital, it meant that he had not told anyone. No. Then let's not talk about it for now. We'll talk about it after 3 months. I was wondering why you came back in the middle of the day. Go and accompany her. I thought Chi-Chi was on leave today. Speaking of which, what about the school? Remembering that Mu Chi-Chi was still a university student, Mama Xing slapped her son again. Mu Chi-Chi couldn't even go to school because of you. I've already arranged for her to take a break from school. When the child is born, Chi-Er can go back to school. This was Mama Xing's worry at the beginning. She thought that Mu Chi-Chi was young and the 2 of them couldn't be synchronized in this aspect. She was also prepared to be a grandmother a few years later. Who knew that Mu Chi-Chi would give her such an exciting one? Mom, thank you for the trouble. You're my son. What else can I do? After saying that, Mama Xing turned around and returned to fifth aunt. It seems that we have to make this meal again. Fifth aunt chuckled. In fact, she knew that Mama Xing was very happy. Madam, it's a happy occasion for the family to have a child. Who said it isn't? It's just that Chi-Chi has wronged that child. If I were her, I would never give birth to eighth brother's child in my life. Although she said that, Mama Xing still went out immediately to buy some fresh vegetables at the mall. Pregnant women needed to be taken good care of. Mu Chi-Chi lay on the bed at home and felt like she was dreaming. When she saw Feng Shanshan pregnant before, she was envious to the bone. Now, she actually had one herself. Moreover, the baby came without any warning. Thinking of this, Mu Chi-Chi lowered her head and looked at her abdomen. Baby, to tell you the truth, Mommy wanted to give birth to your father's child when I was 17. Do you know how much Mommy likes him? Although you came very suddenly, how do you understand Mommy's inner needs so well? You came just like that. Your father can't do anything to us at all. Mu Chi-Chi was talking to herself in the room while Xing Xiao stood at the door and eavesdropped. I'm not that helpless against you. Hearing this familiar voice, Mu Chi-Chi blushed and looked at the door. Why are you back? Xing Xiao walked in front of Mu Chi-Chi and hugged her to sit on his lap. His expression became serious. Since you want this child, you can't be as willful as before. You can't hit people anymore. I didn't know at that time. Mu Chi-Chi knew that Xing Xiao was hinting at her to slap Feng Wen. The school has already completed the procedures for you. If I suddenly don't go to school, the school will definitely have a lot of speculations. Mu Chi-Chi felt that she didn't want so many people to know that someone was now eyeing the Shang and Shen families covetously. She didn't want to be so high profile and become a target for others to threaten Xing Xiao. The school will help cover it up. There's no need to worry. Xing Xiao hugged her and looked at her. A 17-year-old girl suddenly grew up and was about to become a mother. He seemed to be unable to adapt to this change. You want to give birth to my child at 17? You're very bold. I know what you're thinking. You think that I'm still young and can still enjoy my youth. There's no need to be tied down by a child. But, Xiao, let me tell you, in my heart, if I can have a child like you and be with you every day, I will feel that it's a different life. Life is full of changes. Who said that a girl's youth should be free? With a child, I can also enjoy my youth. So, don't always feel guilty about me. You're not a fish. How can you know the joy of a fish? Xing Xiao stared at this thing carefully and felt relieved. At the same time, he felt proud. How infatuated was this thing with him that she was so brave that she wasn't even afraid of giving birth to a child. Just thinking about it made his body react. Chapter 838. Xing Xiao pressed the little thing down with a calm expression. If you mess around again, I'll deal with you somewhere else. Mu Chi-Chi did not dare to act rashly. However, when she thought about not being able to have sex for 10 months, could this man hold back? Xiao, it's only the first day, and you're already so angry. How can you stand it for 10 months? What do you want to say? Just say it. Xing Xiao looked at it with a faint smile. Did it think he couldn't tell that there was a hidden meaning in its words? What if you want it? I've heard that men are most likely to cheat when a woman is pregnant. Xing Xiao's gaze slowly moved from Mu Chi-Chi's little face to her chest. You should be a lot bigger after you get pregnant, when the time comes. Old hooligan. Mu Chi-Chi quickly covered her heart and said. Are you still afraid? This time, Mu Chi-Chi was serious. She reached out and hugged him. I believe in my man. He's a picky eater. Not everyone can catch his eye. Let's go to the Shen family in the afternoon. It was one thing to hide it from the others, but it was impossible to hide it from the two elders. Mu Chichi had no objection. She believed that her father and grandfather would be happy for her. Xiao Xiao, I really have your baby. A baby that belongs to both of us. Yeah. Xing Xiao's tone was indifferent. I'm really happy. Idiot. The child had just been placed in Mu Chichi's belly, so Xing Xiao did not have such a strong feeling. He only knew that this little thing must not be touched in the future. It was his rare treasure. During lunch, Mama Xing kept telling Mu Chichi about the precautions of pregnancy. After all, she knew how bold this child was. But now was a special period. Mu Chichi had to be extra careful. Mu Chichi remembered everything in her heart. Who asked her to care about this child more than Xiao Xiao? After lunch, Xing Xiao held Mu Chichi's hand and walked to the Shen family's house to digest the food. Huang Yu and Shen Jianchuan were not at home. Grandpa Shen was fishing at the fish pond as usual. When he saw the two of them, he felt a little strange. Eighth brother, is the company so free? You actually came to see me at this time. Don't blame him. He did it to accompany me, Mu Chichi said cheerfully. Why don't you go to school? The old man twisted his body and looked at the young couple. His expression suddenly became anxious. What happened? It's okay. You don't have to be so nervous. Mu Chichi quickly waved her hand. It's just that you're going to be a great-grandfather. After hearing that, Grandpa Shen understood what Mu Chichi meant. Then, he put down the fishing rod and looked at Mu Chichi's belly. You're pregnant? Yeah. Mu Chichi nodded. Old 8, speak. Grandpa Shen seemed to think that Mu Chichi's words were not trustworthy. This child liked to joke, so he asked Xing Xiao instead. Xing Xiao did not say anything, but nodded to show that it was true. That's a good thing. This is my first great-grandson. Grandpa Shen was delighted. But after a while, he frowned and pointed at Xing Xiao. Eighth brother, come with me to the study. Mu Chichi was stunned for a moment. Why did this person suddenly turn hostile? Mu Chichi watched as the two entered the study. She did not know what Grandpa Xing wanted to say to Xiao Xiao. A man's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. In the study, Grandpa Shen paced back and forth with his hands behind his back. No matter how he thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. Eighth brother, you're too selfish. How old is Xiao Qi? Just let her. Let her. Grandpa, it's my fault. I couldn't protect her well. Xing Xiao did not explain. But there's one thing I can promise you. Whether she gives birth or not, I won't use anything to restrain her. Grandpa Shen believed that too. Compared to Xiao Qi, he had watched Xing Xiao grow up. This child used to be frivolous and did things based on his mood. But after being with Mu Chichi all these years, he had become mature and steady. Moreover, he knew how much Xing Xiao doted on his baby. Of course, I'm happy that she's pregnant. I just need to emphasize one thing, and that's safety. You know that there are people eyeing our two families now. I don't want Xiao Qi to take this disaster at this juncture. I don't plan to announce it to the public until Qi gives birth to the baby. During this period, let Qi claim that she's sick, Xing Xiao replied. Yes, this is the safest way at the moment. Not letting others know would reduce the attention of others. You young people should arrange these things yourselves. But don't forget what you promised me. You can't let Qi suffer any grievances. I know. The two of them did not stay in the study for long. But it was enough for Mu Chichi to stretch her head. After a while, the two of them came out of the study. Mu Chichi quickly went up to him. Grandpa, do you blame Xiao Xiao? Don't blame him. It's me who wants to keep this baby. He thinks I'm still young. You. Grandpa Shin nudged her head. You're going to be a mother soon. You can't be like before and do whatever you want. Eighth brother spoils you, but you have to know your limits. I know, Muchichi replied as she touched her head. I know. Tell your father later. Then, take good care of yourself and give birth to a healthy baby. Do you understand? Grandpa, don't worry. When that time comes, the whole family would treasure this child. Muchichi could already imagine that she might not be able to hold her own child in the future. Grandpa Shin snorted and returned to his world. Muchichi looked at Xing Xiao and said, I want to wait here for Dad to come back and tell him the news personally. If you have something to do in Zhongtang, go and do it. You won't worry about me staying with the Shin family, right? I came out for 2 days just to accompany you. I'm only worth 2 days for you to come out for. Little one, don't be too proud. I'll find a book to record everything you've done. When you give birth, I'll settle everything with you one by one. Xing Xiao hugged her, but there was a sporadic smile at the corner of his mouth. I don't believe you can bear to. The two of them waited in Shin Jianchuan's antique room. Half an hour later, they saw Shin Jianchuan coming back. Dad, Shin Jianchuan glanced at the two of them. He was also puzzled. After a moment, his gaze moved down to Muchichi's lower abdomen. This person was more meticulous than the old man. He knew that if it were not for this situation, the two of them would not have waited for him here at this time. You're going to be a mother. Why are you so wise? Muchichi immediately praised. We don't even need to say anything. Chapter 839. It's been more than a month, Muchichi answered proudly. Shin Jianchuan glanced at the two of them. Finally, his gaze landed on Xing Xiao. Come with me. No, don't you all have to capture Xiao Xiao for a talk? Muchichi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, Shin Jianchuan didn't want to scold Xing Xiao. Instead, he handed the information he had brought back to Xing Xiao. It's good that you're here. It saves me the trouble of making another trip. Although these grudges have nothing to do with the Xing family, you're now the son-in-law of the Shin family, Chi-Chi's husband, and soon the father of the child. There are some things you have to know. Xing Xiao took the information from Shin Jianchuan and slowly opened it. More than 20 years ago, when the old man was still a brigade commander in the army, he once carried out a special military order to escort a very important researcher to a military base 300 miles away from Jianchuan. However, during the process, something went wrong and he fell into the enemy's ambush. At that time, the Song family was a well-known local entrepreneur, but they colluded with criminals and hid the researcher in their home. The old man was ordered to rescue the hostage, but the Song family framed him many times and almost took his life. In the end, the old man completed his mission. However, the Song family suffered heavy casualties. At the end of the day, they were just ordinary people. But the Song family did extraordinary things. So, in the end, their fate was not unjust. More than 20 years have passed, and so many things have happened in Jianchuan recently. Although the Shin family has made many enemies because of second brother, it's not impossible to say that it's because of the grudges from more than 20 years ago. I've gone to find out. There were a total of 5 people in the Song family at that time. 4 of them were lying in the cemetery, and the other one is missing. I'm telling you all this now because I hope that you can be more vigilant. After all, Xiao Qi is pregnant now. If the other party uses her as a target, it's equivalent to strangling our throats. Xing Xiao closed the information and already knew what to do. I know what to do. Xiao Qi is pregnant. Take good care of her. Don't be like her mother. With that, Shen Jianchuan patted Xing Zhao's shoulder. Actually, I shouldn't be worried. Everyone can see how much you love Xiao Qi. Outside the room, Mu Qiqi was already waiting impatiently. She was the one who was pregnant, not Xiao Xiao. Why were they all asking Xiao Xiao? Just as she was about to knock on the door, the two of them finally walked out of the room. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes at Xing Xiao. Scolded again. Looks like I need to go to that loudspeaker and shout, I want this child, it has nothing to do with you. How is it not related? Isn't he the father of the child? Shen Jianchuan glared at her. You're already going to be a mother, yet you're still so willful. I'm being wronged. How am I willful? Mu Qiqi pointed at her nose and asked. All of them knew that she was pregnant and dragged her husband away. How could they talk to her? All right, let's go home. Xing Xiao took the folder and held Mu Qiqi's hand. As they walked home, Mu Qiqi could not help but think. Xiao Xiao, do you all think that I shouldn't have this child? No one said that. You're overthinking it, Xing Xiao replied calmly. Then if you were 2 years older, everyone would have let nature take its course. However, since you're already pregnant, everyone is very happy. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi was finally satisfied. She was pregnant, and her emotions had become sensitive. She was not so suspicious in the past. Just now, Dad told me a few things. I want to find out if it's related to Bai Sini's case. So, from tomorrow onwards, I'll announce that you're seriously ill and have to stay at home to recuperate. This also means that you won't be able to go out in the future until the child is born. Mu Qiqi stopped in her tracks when she heard this. If Xing Xiao felt that it was serious, then she could not be willful. Then, can we go to Feng Shanshan's house? Try not to. If you want Dad and I to be at ease. Mu Qiqi opened her mouth and realized that something big might have happened. She nodded. I know the severity. I've already said that I'm not a burden to you. Since you don't let me go out, I won't go out. I'll stay at home and take care of the baby. If there's a chance, I'll take you out for a walk. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded. She could not do anything at this time. Of course, if the time is right, I still hope that you can tell me about this. I can also know what we're guarding against. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just patted Mu Qiqi's head dotingly. When he figured it out, he would consider telling this little one. For an entire month. Xing Bowen had been declared innocent, but Xing Kai was still curled up in this small Changrong Electronics. After he fell out with Gu Xiling, he did not go back, and Gu Xiling did not appear either. A month ago, he had received a certain message from a certain person, but at that time, he had ignored it. However, he could not deny that during this month, his heart had often been in turmoil, because he did not know what choice he should make. During this month, Jin Bo did not contact him, but Xing Kai knew that Qing Bin was working for Jin Bo. Jin Bo had even sent other helpers. The target was Tang Yan. The afternoon weather was already very hot. Xing Kai thought that at least for the time being, he should not see Gu Xiling. However, he did not expect that she would directly rush to the company and be aggressive. Xing Kai, look at what you've done. Gu Xiling threw the phone with the chat history open in front of Xing Kai. Why are you here again? Xing Kai did not even bother to look at her. I've always turned a blind eye to you messing around outside. Now that you've gotten your mistress pregnant, she's already here. What do you want me to do? Without another word, Xing Kai looked for the security guard. Drag Gu Xiling out of my office. Xing Kai. Do you still want our marriage? Whoever wants it can take it, Xing Kai answered directly. You scum. Without me, you're nothing. How dare you have a child with another woman behind my back? How dare you give birth to one? Xingkai, let me tell you, I'll definitely make you wish you were dead. Xingkai did not react to Gu Ziling's warning because he had already given up. This woman's humiliation was endless. From the beginning, the two of them should not have taken marriage seriously. Besides, wasn't it difficult for him to get a woman pregnant? If it was true that someone was pregnant with his child, he would definitely divorce Gu Ziling and remarry her. Chapter 840. That night, Xingkai came out of the company. As soon as he entered the underground parking lot, he was pressed to the ground by a few men with a sack over his head and beaten up. The other party was obviously ruthless. It was not until Xingkai could not move that the few of them were afraid that he would die and hurriedly ran away. Xingkai lay on the ground. At that moment, he felt that his body was in so much pain that it was about to split open. He did not need to think too much to know who had sent them. Other than Gu Ziling, who had gone crazy during the day, there was no one else. Thinking of this, Xingkai clenched his fists. Now that he had been betrayed by his family, he had been pushed into a pit of fire by Gu Ziling's grandfather. His life was worse than death. He did not dare to run away from Jin Bo because he did not want to end up like Xingkai. However, what could he do while curled up in such a small space? What could he do? In his mind, he suddenly thought of the text message from a month ago. Xingkai lay on the ground and took out his phone from his leather bag. He flipped to the text message with bloodstains on it. I promise you, but I want to borrow Jin Bo's hand to make the Gu family suffer a fate worse than death. So, wait for me first. The humiliation that Gu Ziling had brought him was enough. Late at night, Mu Qiqi came out of the bathroom and saw Xing Xiao texting someone, so she leaned her little head over. Xing Xiao immediately turned off his phone and looked at her. Didn't we agree that you're not allowed to fool around until you find out what's going on? Then how do I know you're not texting with some beautiful woman? Xing Xiao hugged her and put his phone aside. This one is about to go to heaven. How many more? Am I that free in your heart? I'm just teasing you. I'm a little sleepy. She did not know if it was a psychological effect, but Mu Qiqi felt that pregnant women should be sleepy. Xing Xiao touched her hair and made sure that it was not wet. Then, he picked her up and placed her on the bed. Sleep. Sing me a song. This thing's ability to torture people was increasing day by day. You can ask me to tell you a story, but you can't ask me to sing for you. Men all had a bottom line. Mu Qiqi smiled and admitted defeat. Then tell me a story. Once upon a time, there was a high-spirited brigade commander. One day, he suddenly received a special military order to escort an important researcher to a research base 300 miles away from the army. Mu Qiqi frowned as she listened. When other people told stories, it was either a sleeper or a Cinderella. In his mouth, it became a brigade commander carrying out a special mission. But how could she know that it was all the truth about her grandfather? Forget it, Master Xiao. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to sleep. Xing Xiao's thin lips curled into a smile. Then, he helped Mu Qiqi put down the pillow and turned off the wall lamp. Only then did he leave the bedroom and go to the study. Mu Qiqi's head was spinning. Unexpectedly, the psychological effect was quite effective. She quickly fell asleep, and slept very soundly. In the study, Xing Xiao made a call for help. Soon, the people from the hospital found the place where Xingkai had fainted and sent him to the hospital. That's right. It was Xing Xiao who sent the message a month ago. The only ones who can give you dignity and protect your life are your family and me. If you come back, I'll let bygones be bygones and give you a path with dignity. There are no conditions. Xing Kai had thought about this message for a month. Although he did not want to admit it, deep in his heart, he believed Xing Xiao's words because no one kept their promises as much as Xing Xiao did. However, he felt ashamed. Moreover, he had long since thought that he and the Xing family were from the same world. However, Gu Xialing's provocation made him suddenly realize that if this continued, he would die outside sooner or later. No one could stop him. At midnight, Jin Bo's car arrived at the hospital. He had received news that Xing Kai had been hospitalized. For the past month, he had hardly asked about Xing Kai. He had left him to fend for himself. He had thought that he would think of a way to escape, but he did not have any intention of leaving. On the hospital bed, Xing Kai was seriously injured. Jin Bo sat beside him, waiting for him to wake up. "Are you feeling better?" "Godfather," Xing Kai called out softly. "Why are you here?" "I didn't come to see you." "How badly have you been beaten up?" Jin Bo said with some heartache. "Who did this?" Xing Kai sat up with Jin Bo's help. Then, he opened Xing Xiao's message and showed it to Jin Bo. "Godfather, Xing Xiao came to win me over. I've thought about it for a month, but I still only want to stay by your side. The Xing family has humiliated me enough. I just want Godfather to value me and trust me." Jin Bo read the message and his heart skipped a beat. "I didn't expect the Xing family to still care about old ties. They don't care about old ties. They just want to humiliate me, just like Gu Xialing. Godfather, take me with you. I just want to follow you. I just want those people who look down on me to see that they're blind to humiliate me." Jin Bo thought about it carefully and patted Xing Kai's shoulder. "Rest well first. When you recover, come to Godfather's side. I'll teach you personally." "Godfather, I still have a presumptuous request. The Gu family has treated me like this. I understand what you mean. When you get better, I'll support you in how you want to deal with the Gu family." "Thank you, Godfather." Xing Kai used Xing Xiao's message to exchange for Jin Bo's trust. However, he knew that this was only the most basic. There were more tests ahead. However, this did not matter. At least, it was better than being locked up in a small place like Changrong. For 2 consecutive days, Mu Qiqi did not appear in school. This finally attracted the attention of the students in the faculty. However, Mu Qiqi did not have any friends in school. If they wanted to know about her current situation, they could only ask the dean. "She's fine, but she suddenly stopped coming to school. How strange. Could it be that she's been borrowed again?" "I don't think so. She really treats the school as her home. She can come and go as she pleases." There was a lot of discussion in the school. The dean saw that he could no longer suppress the news, so when he was teaching the students, he explained, "Mu Qiqi has taken a leave of absence from school. Don't make baseless guesses. She's sick. Besides, this is someone else's private matter. Don't worry about it. Just do your part." Just like that, the news of Mu Qiqi's serious illness spread like wildfire. How serious was her illness to the point of taking a leave of absence from school? Chapter 841. But this thing was innately rebellious, and liked to go against the grain. Everyone in the family thought that she was pregnant too early, but she didn't think so. Every day, she called Xing Xiao old man, and it became more and more smooth. Not only that, she even said confidently, "I'm a medical student. I know very well that having a child when you're younger will help you recover faster and have more energy. You won't be afraid of staying up late to feed the baby." Xing Xiao's face darkened when he heard that she was going to stay up late. "I don't need your help. What do you mean you don't need me? Don't tell me you have milk for the baby." Xing Xiao did not want to discuss this with her. She was pregnant, and she was becoming more and more out of control, blurting out everything. Still, he could not bear to think that she would be trapped in such a huge place for the next few months. She was the only one who enjoyed it. On Sunday morning, it was time for Feng Shanshan's prenatal checkup again. Tang Yan was called away by the chief, and she was alone again. Originally, Tang Yan wanted to ask Xiao Xing for help, but Feng Shanshan thought that Mu Qiqi did not have class, so she called her. "Are you free? Accompany your godson for the checkup." I'm not going. Mu Qiqi rubbed her belly and smiled when she realized that she had gotten what she wanted. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She felt that Mu Qiqi was a little strange. "What's wrong with you? What are you giggling about? We're in the same boat now. I'm even more pitiful than you. I'm grounded at home. I can't even go to your house." Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. No matter how she listened, she could not detect any discomfort in Mu Qiqi's tone. She reacted for a moment. Although Mu Qiqi did not say it explicitly, she still felt that she had guessed correctly. "You're also pregnant?" "Yes, exactly 1 month." Feng Shanshan immediately sat down on the sofa and became excited. "Didn't you say that your CEO has made up his mind to wait until you're 24? It was purely an accident." Mu Qiqi was still excited. It had been a few days, but she was still immersed in joy. "All right then. Your situation is different from mine. I'll go for a prenatal checkup first. We'll talk when I come back." Since Mu Qiqi could not go down, she could only wait for Feng Shanshan to go up herself. "Go. Get someone to accompany you. Don't go alone." Now that she was pregnant, she realized how important safety was. At first, the whole family thought that Mu Qiqi would be bored. But did she look bored at all? Over the next few months, she had planned everything out clearly. She had ordered a lot of tools for learning how to draw, tools for making clothes for the baby, and some handicrafts. When the time came, she would be busier than anyone else. After Feng Shanshan learned that Mu Qiqi was pregnant, she was happy for a long time. She thought to herself, "This is what sisters are." They even got pregnant at the same time. However, with Mu Qiqi's situation, Xing Xiao deliberately raised her like a national treasure. Then, Feng Shanshan called Tang Yan. In the end, Xiao Xing came over to help and accompanied Feng Shanshan to the hospital. Song Qiaoji saw that Feng Shanshan's complexion was good, so she raised her finger and praised her. "You look better. That's right. Pay attention to calcium in your diet." "I'm sorry, Dr. Song. I couldn't attend your last lecture." "That's nothing. I still have a few more." Song Qiaoji gave her a new activity brochure. "Come when you're free. It's okay." After spending so much time together, Feng Shanshan already had enough trust in Song Qiaoji. She felt that Dr. Song was really beautiful and kind-hearted. Therefore, the next time Song Qiaoji gives a lecture, she plans to bring Tang Yan along to listen to it seriously. After the prenatal checkup, Feng Shanshan went home anxiously and went to the banyan courtyard. Mu Qiqi was waiting at the door. When she saw the pregnant woman, she was very happy. "Is there any problem with the checkup?" "Yes, the child is fine." "What about you?" "Mine is fine too," Mu Qiqi said proudly. "What about the school?" "You're different from me. Don't you need to go to school?" "I was dropped out of school. There was nothing I could do about it." "I dropped out of school," Mu Qiqi replied casually. "I now understand why you could drop out of school for Captain Tang. Xiao Xiao told the public that I was sick and didn't let anyone know that I was pregnant. That's to protect you." "Of course. They were both pregnant. Mu Chi couldn't hide the smile in her eyes. You're that happy? Of course I'm happy. Think about it. In a few months, your family will have a replica of Tang Yen. I'll have a replica of Master Xiao in my family. Isn't that very interesting? Usually, I can't bully Master Xiao, but it's okay. I can bully his son in the future. Feng Shanshan's heart was different from Mu Chi's because Tang Yen was often not at home. If she had a child, it would be able to distract her and she wouldn't miss that man too much. Since you're pregnant, don't touch forensic stuff. You're a few months pregnant before me after all. You even know how to teach people a lesson. Mu Chi kept Feng Shanshan at home for lunch. In any case, it was all a pregnant woman's meal. Fifth aunt was good at cooking and was good at all kinds of medicinal diets. They were clearly things that were difficult to swallow, but in fifth aunt's hands, she could turn them into new things. It could be seen that Xing Xiao was not a servant that he casually hired back then. When Xing Xiao returned from outside, he saw Feng Shanshan and Mu Chi having lunch. For some reason, this thing had been smiling ever since she was pregnant. It had been a few days, but her excitement had not diminished at all. Perhaps because she knew Xing Xiao's doubts, fifth aunt stood in front of Xing Xiao and said, "Young madam is doing this because of you, sir. Having your flesh and blood is a great joy for her. Because the greatest love a woman has for a man is to want to have a child for him. Young madam is happy from the bottom of her heart." It was unknown where her optimism came from. Even though she knew that she would be locked up in the Banyan courtyard for 10 months, she did not look sad at all. How much love did she have? Your CEO is back. Feng Shanshan happened to see Xing Xiao standing at the door from where she was sitting. She did not notice him just now, so she did not know how long he had been standing at the door. When Mu Chi saw this, her smile became even more natural. Have you eaten? In the past 2 days, Xing Xiao had indeed cleared up all his time to accompany her. In the morning, he had only gone to Zhongting to sign an important contract. After signing it, he rushed back eagerly. In fact, the secretary had already heard the news of Mu Chi's illness. From the time Xing Xiao had been at home for the past 2 days, she had deduced that Mu Chi's illness was probably true. CEO, Miss Chi, are you all right? Xing Xiao had long known that the secretary was a fan of the little thing, so he replied, "I need to rest for a few months, then please ask her to take care of herself." The secretary was quite worried. Only Zhongting's secretary would be so strange. Chapter 842. Seeing that Xing Xiao seemed to have something to say, Feng Shanshan was very tactful. "I'm almost done eating. It's time for me to go back. I won't see Tang Yen when he comes home. Let fifth aunt send you down." Mu Chi stood up. "No need. I'm not so bad that I can't even walk." With that, Feng Shanshan left the table and walked towards the door. When fifth aunt saw her, she quickly followed to send her off. The living room instantly quieted down. Xing Xiao walked to Mu Chi's side and rubbed the little thing's head. "Don't smile at everyone. It looks silly. I'm happy." She was so happy. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He thought that he was never a person who liked to be sad, but after being with this thing for a few years, his emotions seemed to have long been controlled by her. "Let's go back to the Xing family for dinner tonight, Can't you just tell the old man? I don't want to cause too much trouble." "The others are too talkative," Mu Chi could not help but say. She did not trust the rest of the Xing family, especially sixth brother. "I have to find a time to inform my aunt. These are all my dearest people. I want to share this good news with my dearest people. I'll arrange it." This little thing's excitement would probably last for a long time. Forget it, how could he not be happy? This little thing was pregnant with his child and had his blood in her stomach. How could he not be happy? He had never thought that there would be such a day when a family of 3 was like the most beautiful picture in the world. Because the little thing that was about to be born in a few months was half his blood, and the other half was from the woman he loved the most. This was amazing, wasn't it? It turned out that love would really bear fruit in the end. More importantly, according to Fifth Aunt, the highest price a woman could pay to a man was to be willing to give birth to a child for him. How much did she love him to the point of no regrets that she would be so happy for a child? He was going to be a father. In 30 years, he had never had such a strange and proud feeling. In the future, there would be an even smaller thing that would rely on him to survive. What are you thinking about? You're so engrossed. Mu-Chi-Chi poked the man's chest as she drank the soup. Why don't we stay at my aunt's place for the night? Can I? I said I won't let you out. Are you not going to move? Xing Xiao's eyes lit up when he saw it. He couldn't help feeling sorry for her. This concerns the safety of you, Daddy, me, and the baby. Why should I do it? I'll be very obedient. He was too silly. Xing Xiao did not say anything else. He ate lunch with Mu-Chi-Chi and then took a nap with her. In the afternoon, he had a video conference in the study. In the evening, he brought Mu-Chi-Chi out. Grandpa Xing did not know that the two of them would suddenly come over for dinner, so he only prepared a lot of Mu-Chi-Chi's favorite dishes. The Xing family's small kitchen had always been excellent. Mu-Chi-Chi thought about it and liked the Xing family's dinner very much. Eighth brother, you came back so suddenly. Nothing to say. Old Xing thought that something was up with Huang Yao. Otherwise, that thing would never go to a temple without a reason. No, I just want to eat, Xing Xiao answered lazily as he put one hand on Mu-Chi-Chi's chair. Old Xing snorted and pointed at him. After you're done eating, come to the study and play chess with me. Don't cry if you lose. It had been many years since the grandfather and grandson had such a harmonious time playing chess. The other members of the Xing family did not see anything unusual. After dinner, they all went back to their rooms. In the study, old Xing looked at Xing Xiao expectantly. There was a deep meaning in his eyes. Tell me, what's the matter? In the end, he was his grandson. He had watched him grow up, and he knew very well what kind of temper Xing Xiao had. It's nothing. I just came to tell you that you've leveled up. Xing Xiao said proudly to old Xing, holding the little one's hand beside him. What level? Old Xing did not understand for a moment. Mu-Chi-Chi patted her belly when she saw that. Old Xing immediately understood when he saw that. You're pregnant just like that. What do you mean just like that? Mu-Chi-Chi was dissatisfied with the old man's choice of words. I never thought that I would be able to see the birth of eighth brother's child in my lifetime. The old man became happy. With your temper in the past, I thought that you would never have children in this life. It's a secret. There's no need for the other Xing family to know about it, lest it causes unnecessary trouble. Old Xing knew the gravity of it and nodded. You're a man who's going to be a father now. You're more mature and thoughtful than before. I have nothing to worry about. I'm just worried that this girl is too naughty. Old man, you have to speak with your conscience. Mu-Chi-Chi rolled her eyes at him. Now that you have a child and Huang Yao is developing well, my wish has been fulfilled. Even if I leave now, I won't have any regrets. The only thing that makes me sad is... Old Xing smiled bitterly and stopped talking. However, both Mu-Chi-Chi and Xing Xiao knew what his ellipsis meant. Xing Kai had always been a thorn in the old man's side, and there was no way to get rid of it. Eighth brother, take good care of this girl in the future. She's suffered a lot because of me. Whether she gives birth to a boy or a girl, my shares will belong to my great-grandson. No one can have any ideas about it. To be honest, did Muchichi care? Not at all. But it was the old man's intention. Moreover, he had apologized to her on various occasions, so the grudge between the two of them was long gone. Tell me, how bad your taste was, old Xing couldn't help but laugh. All right, it's getting late. Let's go home and rest. Xing Xiao gave Su Zipei a call before he left the house. After leaving Xing Mansion, they went straight to the small mansion. Muchichi was a little nervous at the thought of meeting her aunt. Moreover, there were many memories of her and Xing Xiao in the small mansion, especially the trees outside. In the past, Xing Xiao would always wait for her down there, and they would secretly go out on dates. Is there any place you want to go after visiting your aunt? Xing Xiao asked Muchichi in a low voice on the way to the small mansion. I'm a little sleepy. Muchichi leaned against the front passenger seat and closed her eyes to choose a comfortable position. She fell asleep before they reached the small mansion. Xing Xiao did not wake her. He just slowed down the car so that she could sleep more peacefully and comfortably. When they reached the small mansion, Xing Xiao carried her inside. Su Zipei was shocked when she saw him. What's wrong? She's just asleep, Xing Xiao answered in a low voice. Chapter 843. Perhaps it was because she smelled the familiar scent, Muchichi slept even more soundly. She found a comfortable position and showed no signs of waking up. Su Zipei saw Xing Xiao sitting by the bed helplessly, so she immediately said, Young Master Xing, let me do it. No need. Xing Xiao rejected her softly. Then, he put Muchichi's hand back under the blanket and adjusted the temperature in the room. Su Zipei was worried that Xing Xiao could not take good care of the pregnant woman. Now that she thought about it, she was worrying too much. Then, the two of them turned off the lights and left the room. Have you had dinner? Su Zipei asked quickly. I've made some soup. I'll get a bowl for Xiao Qi when she wakes up. Okay. Xing Xiao nodded. Will Xiao Qi have adverse reactions like morning sickness? Xing Xiao shook his head. Not yet. There are people at home to take care of her diet, so you don't have to worry too much, Aunt Zipei. Hearing the word aunt, Su Zipei was a little dazed. But after a while, she said with a smile, that's because I'm too nervous. When her mother was pregnant with her, she felt uncomfortable for a few months. I'm afraid that Xiao Qi will be like her mother. But with you here, I don't have to worry too much. Wenhua isn't back yet. I still have to coax the child. You might have to sit by yourself. After going downstairs, Su Zipei apologized to Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao didn't think much of it. I'll walk around. That's good. Everything here hasn't changed much from when you left. When Xing Xiao walked out of the villa, he suddenly thought of the scene when he drove his flashy sports car and stopped in front of the villa. He used a stone to knock on the glass of the little one's room upstairs. Now, that little one was pregnant with his child and was lying quietly in the room, resting. How could he have known that he would be so addicted to that little one? Muchichi slept soundly. But when she woke up in her aunt's house, she couldn't help but be in a daze. When she woke up, she didn't see Xing Xiao. Muchichi quickly got up, but when she saw the familiar furnishings in the room, she suddenly smiled. Here, she had spent the most difficult days of her crush. Looking down from the window, Muchichi found Xing Xiao under the tree below. In the past, she had also looked forward to seeing that man downstairs from this place every day. Now that she thought about it, her heart was still moved. A moment later, Susie Pei entered the room with the chicken soup. You're awake. Auntie Pei. Mu Chi-Chi quickly went up to her and asked for a hug. You're going to be a mother soon, but you're still acting like a child. Young Master Sheng has spoiled you. Susie Pei let her hug the baby and handed her the chicken soup. Drink it. Aunt, did I marry the right person? Mu Chi-Chi held the chicken soup in her hands and looked like she was asking for praise. Seeing that, Susie Pei smiled. Back then, young Master Sheng was so frivolous. I thought that you would suffer if you followed him. After all, a man like him can have any woman he wants. That's why I was very worried when you two got together. But after seeing the two of you together over the last few years, I feel that young Master Sheng is the one who has sacrificed more, which is why I think you're really lucky. Young Master Sheng is, and no one would despise their niece like this. Mu Chi-Chi's eyes were a little sad. Now that you're a mother, don't be willful. Think more about young Master Sheng, understand? Sigh, Master Xiao despised me before. I'm the Sheng family's biological child. Now, whether he's in the Sheng family or here, he's still your biological child. You can't touch those things anymore, understand? Especially knives. Don't worry, I've already quit school. Mu Chi-Chi raised her hand and promised. And, I don't know how happy I am now. I'll definitely grasp this happiness tightly. The two of them chatted for a while before Xing Xiao returned. Susie Pei saw that the two of them seemed to have something to say, so she took the porcelain bowl and went out. She closed the door. You guys should rest. It's very late. What did you do down there? Mu Chi-Chi looked at Xing Xiao and asked. I was very disappointed when I woke up and didn't see you. After saying that, Mu Chi-Chi hugged Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao hugged her and couldn't help but sigh. You're so clingy, then, do you want me to be clingy? Go take a shower. Xing Xiao carried her horizontally and the two of them entered the bathroom. It was clearly a thunderstorm, but they couldn't do anything. Seeing that Xing Xiao was holding it in so hard, Mu Chi-Chi couldn't bear it anymore. She said to him, Don't hold it in, Xiao Xiao. I don't want you to work so hard. I'll help you. Pregnant people were happy, but at the same time, they were dangerous. Feng Shanshan absolutely trusted Dr. Song now, so she handed the activity booklet to Tang Yan. Do you have time to accompany me to Dr. Song's lecture? Tang Yan was cleaning up the dishes. When he saw the time of the activity, he nodded. I'll try my best to accompany you. Is there a big case at the station recently? Feng Shanshan saw the hesitation in his expression. If you don't have time, it's okay. I can go by myself. Hearing Feng Shanshan say that, Tang Yan felt guilty. He put down the bowl and chopsticks and held Feng Shanshan's hand. I'll definitely accompany you. There's no need. When we were together, I said that you can be a police officer. I won't hinder you. It's not a hindrance. I also want to accompany you. All right then. Feng Shanshan nodded. Don't be too tired. When the time comes, I won't be the one feeling sorry for you. Tang Yan patted the back of her hand, indicating that he understood. Then, he took the bowl and chopsticks and went to the kitchen. Chi-Chi is also pregnant. You know that, right? That's going to be spoiled to the heavens. Are you envious? Feng Shanshan laughed. That was her life. Others had this life, so it was only right for them to be spoiled. It's enough for me to have you. It had been more than a month since Song Qiaoji came to Jianchuan. She had indeed gradually gained Feng Shanshan's trust, but it had almost worn out Qingbin's patience. The two of them had a lot of conflicts on the phone. Miss Song, if you don't take action by the end of this month, I'll do it myself. In any case, he had already figured out Feng Shanshan's prenatal checkup routine and that the person who was always following her was just a little girl. It wasn't too difficult for him to deal with her. Then do it yourself. I don't plan to do it. I think that mother and son are quite pitiful, Song Qiaoji said indifferently. Anyway, you're the one taking revenge, not me. I should have known that women are unreliable. Damn it, I wasted so much of my time. After saying that, Qingbin hung up. Song Qiaoji smiled and let Qingbin do it. Firstly, she could help Feng Shanshan get out of danger. This way, she could gain her trust. Secondly, she could also test what kind of strings Tang Yan had set up around Feng Shanshan. Chapter 844. Why didn't he use his brain? How could someone who could make Tang Yan follow him so easily? Song Qiaoji had observed carefully. Although Xiao Xing was very young, she was definitely a martial artist and had good skills. These men always thought that girls, especially little girls, didn't seem to be intimidating. This was pure discrimination. Let him go and mess around. As Song Qiaoji thought about it, she drank red wine alone. After resting in the hospital for a few days, Shinkai's injuries had mostly healed. That night, after Shinkai showed Xing Zhao's text message to Jin Bo, he gained Jin Bo's trust. Jin Bo also promised him that he would send someone to settle the matter with the Gu family. Gu Xiling had indeed sent someone, but Gu Xiling had only wanted to vent her anger. She had never thought that Shinkai would really have the guts to take revenge or bear a grudge. She was just angry that Shinkai had gotten a woman outside pregnant. After nightfall, Jianchuan had already started to get stuffy. After Gu Xiling and Mama Gu had eaten, they sat in the garden to cool off. Who knew that Shinkai would go home wrapped in gauze? When Gu Xiling saw Shinkai's injured appearance, she felt a little guilty. However, it was only for a moment before she regained her original proud look. Who beat you up? Don't you know who beat me up? Shinkai asked her in return. Shinkai, don't forget what you've done outside. You and I haven't divorced yet, and you've already gotten another woman pregnant. Are you trying to make me a joke? Gu Xiling stood up from the chair. She always had that arrogant look on her face. Shinkai, it's not that I want to criticize you, but I married the woman to you because I wanted her to have a happy ending. I didn't expect her life to be so miserable after marrying you. Mama Gu also came over to help. You really don't act like a man. I don't act like a man. Why don't you think about who gave me that? After Shinkai said that, he grabbed Gu Xiling's shirt with his left hand and pushed her to the ground. Today, I won't say anything else. You got someone to beat me up. It's only fair that I return the favor. Shinkai, what do you want to do? Mama Xing had a bad feeling, and her face turned pale. I'll let your daughter have a taste of being seriously injured. Having said that, Shinkai turned to the people outside the villa. Come in. The third brother was a man dressed in black. He held a wooden stick in his hand and his face was covered. He looked like a professional fighter. Shinkai, don't do anything rash. This is against the law, breaking the law. I came here today with Godfather's permission. He will take care of everything for me. Shinkai answered Mama Xing while stepping on Gu Xiling's body. Didn't the Gu family dig this pit for me? Let's jump together now. Do it. It was not difficult for the three men to deal with the two women. Not only that, these men also destroyed the Gu family. Gu Xiling did not know how many times she had been kicked. She only felt as if her lower abdomen was being torn apart. I know you look down on me. Since that's the case, why should I endure it? Gu Xiling, let me tell you, don't point fingers in front of me in the future. Otherwise, don't blame me if I hit you too hard one day. Gu Xiling was trembling all over, but she did not have the guts to resist. She was also afraid of death. Especially when she felt that Xing Kai was inhumane as if he had been possessed by a devil. Gu Xiling could only support herself on the ground and sob softly. Because she knew what fear was. Xing Kai had never seen her so pitiful before. He finally smiled. I was too good-tempered to you in the past. From now on, I won't be like that anymore. Gu Xiling resisted the urge to call the police. She could only watch Xing Kai walk away before taking out the phone with the broken screen. However, Mama Gu stopped her. Are you crazy? You're calling the police. Mom, I'm calling the police now. Didn't you hear what he said? This is all allowed by your godfather. Do you want your grandfather to come back and beat you to death? Gu Xiling touched the blood on the bridge of her nose and smiled helplessly. I just married a beast. You're also at fault. Why do you always humiliate him? How can you stop a man when he goes crazy? I'm not wrong. He's incompetent. He's incompetent. But Gu Xiling did not dare to say these words in front of Xing Kai. In the future, be careful when dealing with him. At this point, he hasn't said anything about divorce. I won't leave either. I just want to see who can outlast the other. Gu Xiling was obviously saying these words out of anger. She had already invested too much in this relationship. She had lost everything. How could she leave now? Impossible. If she had to die, she would die together. Gu Xiling was sent to the hospital, and Grandpa Gu called Jean Bo wasn't Xing Kai being too presumptuous. Jean Bo did not think much of it. After all, Xing Kai was a tiger without teeth in the past. Now that he had been provoked by Gu Xiling, wasn't that a good thing? In the past, Xing Kai felt that it was boring to use him. He was not decisive in doing things, and he did not have the guts. But now, it was different. Kai, after you rest for a few more days, go out with Godfather for a meal. Godfather will introduce you to more friends and let you expand your career. Thank you, Godfather, Xing Kai replied over the phone. We're both father and son. What are you thanking me for? It was great to be able to borrow Jean Bo's hand to make the Gu family obedient, but Xing Kai did not forget what Jean Bo did. After putting down the phone, Xing Kai sent another message to an unfamiliar number. Jean Bo, I don't know your real name. He's planning for Deputy Mayor Liang and has adopted many orphans for something. Shen Yu is one of them. Now, Qingbin wants to make a move on Tang Yan, but he has a helper. I'm not sure who he is. After sending it, he immediately deleted the message. Not long after, two subordinates who claimed to have been sent by Jean Bo followed Xing Kai. Xing Kai knew that rather than saying that they were here to help him, it would be better to say that they were here to monitor him. There were some quagmires that you could not fall into, but since you had fallen into them, there was no turning back. Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to stay in the small villa for 2 days. Seeing that her face was rosy and she was still immersed in excitement, Xing Xiao faintly curled his lips. I know. Zhongting is very busy. You've been with me for 2 days. Go back to work. On the way home, Mu Qiqi said to Xing Xiao considerately, I know. I'm looking for something to do at home. For example, painting, making toys for the baby. Anyway, I'm very busy. You should go and do your work too. Don't disturb me. Mu Qiqi thought of the pile of things she had bought a few days ago. It was enough for her to work for 10 months. Are you really willing to not leave the room? I'm willing, Mu Qiqi answered seriously. Mu Qiqi answered seriously. Then, she leaned on his shoulder. Aunt Zipe said that you're the only one who's sacrificing after we got together. So, I reflected on myself. Am I really that bad as a wife? Chapter 8:45. So, I want to be more considerate. Xing Xiao hugged her with one arm and said calmly, there's no need. Xing Xiao, I'm an adult now. Can you trust me a little more? After Xing Xiao heard this, he pinched her face. What did you call me? Hubby, let go. I asked Su Che to find some books related to forensics for you to pass the time, Xing Xiao said to Mu Chichi before getting out of the car. In fact, he was the only one in this world who understood her the best. Reading these when you're pregnant, will it be bad for the prenatal education? With you around, I don't expect good prenatal education. With that, Xing Xiao took a long step back to the car and instructed Su Che, go to Zhongting. If he did not deal with it for 2 days, the work had already piled up like a mountain. By the way, check up on Jean Bo, Su Che was surprised, but he did not ask. Understood. After Mu Chichi returned home, she moved all the handicrafts out of the storeroom. When Fifth Aunt saw this, her legs went soft. Little ancestor, you can't move heavy things now. You're scaring me to death. It's fine. They're all very light things. Mu Chichi's eyes were bright. Ever since she became pregnant, she had been in high spirits every day. What do you want to do? Make a small wooden horse for the baby and some toys. After Mu Chichi said that, she opened the packaging of the boxes. Thinking about how she was a forensic doctor and could play with the scalpel so beautifully, it should not be difficult for her to pack things. Fifth Aunt did not disturb her and let her sit in the living room. That was good. Otherwise, she would get sick from staying at home every day. Fifth Aunt, when you have time, tell me about medicinal cuisine. I want to learn. Let me make it clear first. If you want to learn, you can, but you can't enter the kitchen. Fifth Aunt had made a rule with her beforehand that she had to be scalded and touched in the study. She could not afford this responsibility. Okay, I won't go. As long as it was related to the child, Mu Chichi was very obedient. Young madam, now that the baby is here, we should prepare a baby room. However, there's only a bedroom and a study upstairs. Should we put it downstairs? With Fifth Aunt's reminder, Mu Chichi felt that it was time to consider it. If it was placed downstairs, it would definitely be inconvenient for her to feed the baby when it was born. But if it was upstairs, then change the cloakroom for me and Xiao Xiao. Anyway, it's just a matter of having one more small bed. The baby can't leave me before he's 2 years old. She thought the child was 2 years old. We need to prepare that as soon as possible. But it's not convenient for me to go out and buy them. Mu Chichi thought about it and decided to solve it online. But when she thought about it, it was not convenient to have it delivered. Madam, and I can do this for you. Although Mu Chichi wanted to set it up herself, she gave up when she thought about safety. After the baby's room was settled, Mu Chichi continued to make her handicrafts. However, in the middle of the afternoon, she received a call from Lu Qianqian. Chichi, are you sick? Where did you hear the news? My former classmate. I met him today. He's also in Xingting University. He said that you've taken a break from school and are recuperating at home. What happened to you? Lu Qianqian called Mu Chichi when she got the news. It could be seen that she was her best friend. I'm not sick. I'm pregnant. Mu Chichi smiled and said in one breath. Xiao Xiao didn't let the outside world know about this, so he asked me to say that I'm sick. Pregnant. Lu Qianqian almost screamed in front of her subordinates. I'll drive over tonight to see you. Okay. Mu Chichi nodded and agreed. Then you go ahead, CEO. We'll talk about it tonight. Okay. After the two of them hung up, Mu Chichi immediately said to Fifth Aunt, there are guests coming tonight. Fifth Aunt might have to trouble you to prepare a sumptuous dinner. It's a small matter. Leave it to me. Mu Chichi didn't want everyone to know about it, but it seemed that she would feel like an outsider if she didn't tell her good friends. Moreover, Chan was someone she could trust. That evening, Lu Chan drove a red Ferrari to the Banyan courtyard. Seeing Mu Chichi's domestic appearance, she couldn't help but sigh. You're no longer that 17-year-old girl, CEO Lu, you're becoming more and more like a capable female CEO now. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Lu Chan immediately looked at her lower abdomen. It hasn't been long since I saw you. You were fine, and you're suddenly pregnant. Your family's CEO is very efficient. It was purely an accident. Mu Chichi chuckled. Silly girl, why are you so happy? Look at you. You can't even control yourself at such an important occasion like the inauguration ceremony. If you don't get pregnant, who will? Mu Chichi felt so embarrassed that even her ears turned red when she heard that. Forget it. As long as my sister is happy, I won't say anything. I bought a small gift for the baby in the car. I'll ask your CEO to bring it down later. You don't even know the gender. Why spend so much money? I'm happy. The two sisters chatted and laughed as they entered the living room. However, at the end of dinner, Xing Xiao did not return home. After dinner, Mu Chichi was sleepy. Lu Chan could tell that she was sleepy, so she got up from the sofa. I won't disturb the pregnant woman's rest. I'm going home. Chan, if you meet your classmates in the future, tell them that I'm sick. I'm very sick. Got it. Lu Chan hugged Mu Chichi. Stay at home and take good care of the baby. After Lu Chan left, Mu Chichi went upstairs and fell asleep. It was easy to develop a habit. After more than a month of pregnancy, she shouldn't have had such a reaction. However, Mu Chichi had a balance in her heart. It would be good for the child if she developed the habit of going to bed early. At 8:30 p.m., Xing Xiao entered the house. He did not see Mu Chichi and knew that she was asleep upstairs. Sir, you're back. How's her today? Xing Xiao took off his coat. The first thing he did was ask Fifth Aunt about Mu Chichi's situation. She made some handicrafts in the afternoon and talked about the baby's room. I think she's quite disappointed that she can't go out and buy things for the baby. After Xing Xiao heard this, he first went upstairs to look at the pregnant woman on the bed. After making sure that she was sleeping soundly, he quietly went to the study. The baby's room. It was time to get ready. The next day, Feng Shanshan and Tang Yan agreed to go to Song Qiaoji's lecture. Therefore, the two of them got up early. Tang Yan personally drove Feng Shanshan to the medical university, but along the way, he hung up on at least 6 or 7 calls. If you're really busy, you can go back when we get to school. Feng Shanshan tilted her head and said, the school is full of people. You don't have to worry. Tang Yan did not say anything and turned off his phone. Chapter 846. Song Qiaoji saw Feng Shanshan and her husband from afar, so she smiled at them through the crowd. Feng Shanshan smiled back and sat down. She realized that she was surrounded by pregnant women. Many of them had come on their own. Thinking that her husband was by her side, Feng Shanshan felt much more at ease. Song Qiaoji was indeed very professional. During the lecture, she had also solved many of the confusion of many pregnant women. Especially when it came to the diseases that might occur during pregnancy, Tang Yen listened very seriously. From time to time, he would use his phone to record down key information. Feng Shanshan's heart warmed when she saw this. The 1-hour lecture soon ended. Feng Shanshan and Tang Yen got up and left. I told you, it's very safe. You can go back to the station. I'll send you home first, Tang Yen said consciously. This so-called safety was based on him being here. If Feng Shanshan was alone, Tang Yen would not be at ease. In the future, when you go to Dr. Song's place, don't let Xiao Xing come over. She's a police officer, not my personal bodyguard. Can you be a little more selfish? Tang Yen said to Feng Shanshan. Just like before we got together. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She was sensible, but he didn't buy it. The couple argued along the way and left. Song Chaoji looked at their figures from afar from behind. Let's be happy for a few more days, a very happy life. Qingbin was nearby, but he did not find an opportunity to make a move. Of course, he did not plan to make a move today because he knew Feng Shanshan's prenatal checkup time. 1 corpse and 2 lives. He did not know how Tang Yen would feel if he lost these 2 people. In the morning in Jianchuan, the sun was shining brightly. Su Che had already found out about Jin Bo. While Xing Xiao was not busy, he entered the office and handed him the information. Jin Bo, American, 52 years old. According to the information, he has 2 sons. He's an entrepreneur who runs an educational organization in the United States. These are all empty shells. Xing Xiao threw them away without looking at them. This isn't his real name. If we want to find out more details, we might alarm the other party. Moreover, it will take a long time, Su Che replied. Then investigate slowly and carefully, Xing Xiao said calmly. This person is the mastermind behind Baisini's case. Moreover, he views the Shen and Xing families as his #1 enemies. I want to know all the news about this person as soon as possible. This news. Where did you get it from? Su Che was a little strange. Xing Kai sent it. Su Che knew that there was someone behind Xing Kai. It turned out to be Jin Bo. Also, do something for me tonight. Understood. Su Che did not ask how Xing Xiao could get the information from Xing Kai. For now, the authenticity of the information was more reliable. Could it be that the 2 brothers had privately reconciled? Also, Su Che, if you have time, investigate another person with the surname Song. If they could prove that Jin Bo was a member of the Song family, then everything would make sense. Su Che was busy with his work, so Xing Xiao called his secretary over the intercom. Bring Qi Er here at 4 in the afternoon. All right. Wasn't he sick? The secretary was puzzled but did not dare to ask the big CEO. Bring 2 bodyguards. The secretary received the order and set off at 4:00 in the afternoon. When she arrived at the Banyan courtyard, she saw that Mu Chichi was clearly very energetic. Young madam, the president asked me to pick you up. Did he say anything? Mu Chichi looked puzzled. He didn't say. He only asked me to bring you safely. Then let me change my clothes. A moment later, Mu Chichi said goodbye to Mama Xing and went out. It had been a few days since she came into contact with this world. Mu Chichi felt a little absent-minded. After entering Zhongting, she stared at Xing Xiao and asked, "Didn't we agree not to go out? I'll take you somewhere tonight." Mu Chichi raised her eyebrows and saw that Xing Xiao had already asked someone to prepare food and drinks. Go kill some time by yourself. Be good, okay? Before Mu Chichi could nod, she saw Xing Xiao turn around and go to the conference room. He must have been very busy these past 2 days. Muchichi obediently sat on the sofa and read a book. She thought that she would have to wait until 8:30 p.m. After all, Xing Xiao had been returning home at this time recently. However, it was just past 7 when Xing Xiao returned to his office and said to her, "Let's go." "Where are we going?" Xing Xiao did not say anything. He personally drove Muchichi to that mysterious place. "Get out of the car." Muchichi took a closer look and realized that this was the most high-end mother and baby product store in Jianchuan City. There was no one inside except for the manager in charge. It seemed that CEO Xing had booked the entire place. Muchichi was instantly excited. Yesterday, she had just told Fifth Aunt that she did not have the chance to come out and buy things for the baby. "Madam, you can choose anything you want. There are a total of 5 floors here. You can go from the 1st floor to the 5th floor. I don't even know what to buy when you suddenly call me out like this." Muchichi looked at Xing Xiao with some resentment. "If I had known, I would have made a list." Xing Xiao held her hand and took the elevator to the 1st floor. The 1st floor is for the baby's daily necessities, including a crib, a baby pillow, and toys. "I want all of these." Muchichi looked at the small things and could not help but sigh. She turned around and looked at Xing Xiao. He stopped in front of a crib. Muchichi immediately felt that the scene was a little soft, so she took out her phone and took a picture. "Just by this bed." Muchichi walked to Xing Xiao's side and said, "I can tell that you like it." Xing Xiao took the opportunity to hug Muchichi's waist and kiss her forehead. "Silly thing, thank you." "Ha!" Muchichi was stunned by Xing Xiao's sudden thanks. "I suddenly feel the reality of being a father." "You're welcome, Master Xiao. You must be very happy." At this moment, Xing Xiao's body was much less fierce and there was more gentleness. This was special only when he was facing Muchichi. Very happy. The two of them strolled around the mother and baby shop for a long time, but the only thing that really caught Xing Xiao's eye was a bed. The rest were all things useful for mothers. At least they had come to shop. Muchichi was satisfied. "I wanted to buy some things for Feng Shanshan, but I was afraid that she would feel uncomfortable, so I decided to forget it." Both of them were pregnant, but Feng Shanshan had no family, and her whole family revolved around her. It was indeed very uncomfortable. "It's good that you know." This thing was still as sensitive as ever. The two of them returned with a full load, and they especially liked the bed. Mama Xing also liked it when she saw it. "Eighth brother is more like a father now. He's better than your father." Papa Xing had always felt guilty towards Xing Xiao. When his wife thought of him like this, he felt embarrassed. "Can we not talk about the past?" Chapter 847. "It's fine if you buy the bed, but the other things that the child needs, Grandpa will buy." Industrial design, the best understanding of production. That was why Papa Xing could speak so boldly. "Thank you, Dad, there's no need to be so polite. We're family." Papa Xing waved him off, his eyes full of smiles. Then, the couple went upstairs. Xing Xiao placed the crib next to the big bed. That way, the atmosphere of the family of 3 became even more intense. Muchichi hugged him from behind, her little face buried in his back. "It's so blissful that it's unreal, you used to be so shameless. Why are you pretending now?" Xing Xiao turned around and lifted her chin. "Go wash up. It's time to sleep, are you annoying? I thought you were going to kiss me." Seeing that thing disappear at the door of the bedroom, Xing Xiao slowly curled up the corner of his mouth, his heart extremely warm. Although the school had kept a low profile ever since Muchichi took a leave of absence, the outside world had started to make noise about it. Moreover, ever since Xingxiao arranged for Muchichi's leave of absence, the outside world rarely saw Muchichi. Was he really seriously ill? When Jinbo received the news, he could not help but pay attention to Muchichi's movements. Because he knew very well how important Muchichi was to the Shin family and Xingxiao. It could not be such a coincidence that she suddenly fell sick. So, he called Xingkai. "Ah Kai, Muchichi is seriously ill. Did you get any news?" "I heard about it," Xingkai answered flatly. He was meeting a client outside. "You are a member of the Xing family. You must have the means to find out if this information is true. You know that Muchichi is everyone's Achilles heel if we want to bring down the Xing family. Don't let a good chess piece disappear just like that." "All right, Godfather, I will think of a way to find out." Jinbo wanted to clear the obstacles for Liang. The number one enemy was the Shin family and Xingxiao. Muchichi's existence was so important. Of course, Jinbo did not want anything to happen to Muchichi. In fact, Xingkai knew that there was something strange about Muchichi's illness. However, if Xingxiao wanted to prevent Jinbo from hiding Muchichi, it was too early. Moreover, Muchichi was not a person who was willing to be tied down, unless she was really sick. Not long after the call with Jinbo ended, Qingbin called again. "I plan to take action tomorrow. After thinking about it, I don't have anyone else to call, so I can only rely on you. CEO Xing, I have a younger brother at home called Qingxia. He's disappointing, but he's still my blood relative. If my plan doesn't succeed, I'll have to trouble you to take care of him. Has everything been planned?" Xingkai asked calmly. "Yes, I can't wait any longer," Qingbin replied. "Godfather has sent a helper to you. It shouldn't be a problem. A woman has delayed me for a long time." Qingbin snorted coldly. Xingkai did not ask who it was because that might arouse Qingbin's suspicion. However, Xingkai knew that it was a woman. "Go ahead and do it. Leave your brother to me." Xingkai hung up and returned to the banquet. He was hesitating whether he should tell Xingxiao about it. He was also afraid that this was a trap set up by Qingbin and Jinbo to test him. After all, Xingxiao had put forward tempting conditions in order to win him back. He knew that Jinbo was a very suspicious person. The truth was indeed as he had expected. After Qingbin hung up the phone with Xingkai, he gave Jinbo a reply. "If my plan fails tomorrow, then Mr. Jin, you can also consider crippling Xingkai. Don't use a suspicious person, don't suspect a person you use. I'm just being careful." After all, no matter how much Xingkai hated Xingxiao, he was still a member of the Xing family. If he wanted to use people, he had to determine if they were loyal or not. "And Miss Song, Mr. Jin, did you really send her to help me?" Regarding this, Jinbo smiled mysteriously. There was no doubt about it. Song Qiaoji had already told Jinbo about the interlocking plan. If Qingbin failed, she would act as a hero, save Feng Shanshan, and gain her trust. Then, while Feng Shanshan was not investigating, she would make her disappear. "Tomorrow, I wish you success in your revenge." "Thank you, Master Jin." Qingbin hung up the phone and gulped down a few mouthfuls of wine. After so many years of grudges, it was time to end it with Tang Yen. Don't blame him for being despicable. Compared to the time when Tang Yen was a spy, he felt that he was much gentler. The next day, it was Feng Shanshan's prenatal checkup. Tang Yen had not been on a business trip for several months. The bureau chief could not take the pressure anymore, so he said to him, "After accompanying your wife for the prenatal checkup, there's a big case." The higher-ups specifically asked for your assistance. You might be away from home for a few days. We'll talk about it after I accompany her for the prenatal checkup. The bigger Feng Shanshan's belly was, the more Tang Yan did not want to go back to his previous life. The bureau chief could not do anything to him, so he said, Tang Yan, I understand you. There's no one at home to take care of your wife, but you have to understand your identity. In the past few months, I've tried my best to make things convenient for you. You have to repay me occasionally. In the past few months, you know the rate of cases solved in our branch. I can even transfer Xiao Xing to be your assistant. I'll get her to take care of your wife while you're away. What do you think? Wait for me to come back. Chief, there's not much time. Seeing Tang Yan disappear, the bureau chief sighed. There was nothing he could do about him. Tang Yan went to the branch office for a morning meeting and drove home to pick up Feng Shanshan for the prenatal checkup. Feng Shanshan more or less knew about Tang Yan's dilemma. The two of them had talked about this more than once. However, this man was too stubborn. Perhaps the bureau chief had done his homework, so Professor Tang rushed over before the two of them left. Your aunt is on the way here. She'll take good care of Shanshan. You can go deal with the bureau chief first. Tang Yan was still hesitant. Go. Are you afraid that your aunt and I won't be able to take good care of her? Of course, Tang Yan did not mean that. Uncle and aunt are both here. They'll accompany me to the prenatal checkup. Don't worry. Feng Shanshan did not want to think about men. She was always in a dilemma. Actually, she was already satisfied that he had accompanied her for a few months. Tang Yan, don't forget that you're also a criminal police officer. Shanshan hasn't been feeling well these few days. Uncle, try to drive slowly. Or, I'll get Xiao Xing to come over and send you to the hospital. Feng Shanshan did not know whether to laugh or cry. How many people do you want to surround me? You don't have the right to speak now. Listen to my arrangements, Tang Yan said stubbornly. No matter what happens, call me immediately. Chapter 848. Feng Shanshan couldn't do anything to Tang Yan, so she could only wait for Xiao Xing to come over and take his place. Feng Shanshan didn't know that Xiao Xing was good at martial arts. She just felt that Tang Yan was always making things difficult for the little girl. Then, Professor Tang, his wife, and Xiao Xing accompanied Feng Shanshan to the hospital. However, because Song Qiaoji had something to do today, another doctor examined Feng Shanshan. Miss Feng, Dr. Song asked for leave this morning, but she told us to take good care of you, so don't worry. Feng Shanshan smiled. She felt a little embarrassed with 3 family members by her side. I've read the report. The baby is very healthy and his indicators are normal. When you go back, just pay attention to rest and maintain a happy mood. At home, listen to more music and do prenatal education. But these few days, my heart has been palpitating and uncomfortable. This has something to do with the season. Try to eat a light diet. It's not a big problem. You'll be fine after some recuperation, the other party replied with a smile. Don't worry, the child is fine. Feng Shanshan heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that the baby was fine. Sister-in-law, since you're fine, let's go back. Xiao Xing quickly helped Feng Shanshan up. It's been hard on you. You always waste time accompanying me. Feng Shanshan misunderstood Xiao Xing's meaning. That's not what I meant. I just feel that I have a great responsibility. If I don't send you home as soon as possible, I'll be very nervous, Xiao Xing quickly explained. I think you're very easy to get along with. I don't mean to dislike you. I'm just teasing you. Feng Shanshan smiled. I'm not much older than you. Don't be so serious. Xiaoxing heaved a sigh of relief and patted her chest. Boss's iceberg face scares me. Don't you think it's very charming? Feng Shanshan pretended to be surprised and asked. Xiaoxing was stunned for a moment and shook her head like a rattle drum. When he looks at me, I feel a bone-chilling coldness. Tang Yan was usually serious, so it was no wonder that the little assistant was afraid. Because they didn't understand how cold this man was on the outside but warm on the inside. The three of you wait at the door. I'll go get the car, Professor Tang said to his wife and Feng Shanshan. Then hurry up, Mrs. Tang shouted at the professor. Then, she placed her palm on Feng Shanshan's bulging abdomen. Shanshan, I think, this is a boy. Auntie, you know how to read. Mrs. Tang smiled mysteriously. After a while, Tang Zhao's car stopped in front of them. Get in the car. Let's go home. They smiled and got into the car, thinking that their mission would be over if they could send Feng Shanshan home safely. However, in the dark, after the security guard saw them leave the hospital, he immediately said to the person on the phone, "We've already set off, then let's follow the plan." On the way back, the car broke down and stopped halfway. They looked at each other, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Mrs. Tang immediately looked at the professor and said, "Hurry up and go down and take a look." The professor immediately opened the door and got out of the car. Then, Mrs. Tang explained, "Your uncle doesn't like to drive, so he doesn't usually use the car. He might have a small problem. Don't be nervous." Feng Shanshan wasn't nervous, but Xiaoxing looked around. This was just an ordinary road, surrounded by greenery, and there were no businesses. Therefore, she could not help but hold Feng Shanshan's arm. "It's okay." A moment later, the professor walked around the front of the car and said, "No, we'll probably have to take a taxi." "Then let's take a taxi. It'll be quick." Mrs. Tang helped Feng Shanshan out of the car. Professor Tang called for a tow truck, while Mrs. Tang stopped at the intersection and was about to take a taxi. At that moment, a black car drove over, and several men in black got out of the car. When Professor Tang saw this, he immediately ran over and pointed at the 5 men. "What are you doing?" Xiaoxing pushed Feng Shanshan back and said to Mrs. Tang, "Madam, please protect sister-in-law." Xiaoxing, a little girl, was facing 5 grown men without any fear. In addition, Professor Tang still had some foundation, so the current situation was 2 against 5. Song Qiaoji was right. Xiaoxing's skills were indeed strong and powerful. She did not lose to men at all. Mrs. Tang's expression changed. She hid to the side with Feng Shanshan. "Shanshan, call the police." Feng Shanshan took out her phone and was about to make a call when another car of men in black quickly arrived and snatched Feng Shanshan's phone. "Xiaoxing, go save Shanshan." "I'll handle this," Professor Tang quickly shouted when he saw Feng Shanshan being held up. This group of people was simply lawless. They actually dared to make a move in broad daylight. However, he did not know that even the car had been tampered with in advance, which was why it broke down halfway. This was what had happened in the hospital parking lot, but he did not know that. Xiaoxing shook off the 3 men who were pestering her and quickly ran in Feng Shanshan's direction. However, Feng Shanshan was about to be stuffed into the car. Xiaoxing was very anxious. She was afraid that the few of them would use force against Feng Shanshan. She was pregnant now and could not withstand such torment. It was precisely because she was pregnant that Feng Shanshan did not make any unnecessary movements when the conditions did not allow it. This was because she knew that she was pregnant with Tang Yan's child. Soon, the alarm sounded not far away. The first 5 men immediately climbed into the car and sped away. On the other side, Feng Shanshan was about to be taken away. At this critical moment, a red car suddenly blocked the way in front of the car. Song Xiaoji got out of the car in a white coat and took out the pepper spray she carried with her. She grabbed one of the men and glanced at his eyes. "Come and help." When Feng Shanshan saw another man get out of the car to grab Song Xiaoji, she quickly got out of the car. She quickly opened Song Xiaoji's car door and sat in. Another man wanted to grab Feng Shanshan, but he was stopped by Xiao Xing. Song Xiaoji made a prompt decision and got into the car. She said to Feng Shanshan, "Sit tight, Dr. Song, why are you here?" "This is the only way to work. I was doing something and happened to see it when I returned to the hospital," Song Xiaoji explained. "Who are those people? Why are they so bold? Is Jinchuan's public security so chaotic? I don't know either. They're probably my husband's enemies." Feng Shanshan only felt the lingering fear now. Then, she said to Song Xiaoji, "Dr. Song, can I borrow your phone? It's in my bag." Her phone had been snatched, but Feng Shanshan remembered Tang Yan's phone number. However, Tang Yan could not be reached. Chapter 849. I'll send you to my house first. It's safe this way. When we arrive, I'll think of a way to help you inform them, Song Xiaoji said. Thank you, Dr. Song. After putting down the phone, Feng Shanshan finally understood what it felt like to tremble. Song Xiaoji looked at Feng Shanshan from the rearview mirror and thought to herself, what an innocent woman. What a pity, after all, Professor Tang was old and could not withstand such a big torment. When the police arrived, he was already so tired that he sat on the side and panted. Mrs. Tang hurriedly went up to take care of him. As for the men behind them, when they saw the police arrive, they scattered in all directions. In order to catch one of them, Xiao Xing had disappeared. I wonder how Shanshan is doing. Her phone is broken. Mrs. Tang picked it up from the ground and held it in her hand. Who are these people? Professor Tang wiped his sweat and said slowly, it might be someone trying to take revenge on Tang Yan. Fortunately, the doctor came in time. Then let's hurry to the hospital and contact someone to bring Shanshan back. Mrs. Tang helped the professor up. The two of them showed their identities and got into the police car. Give Tang Yan a call too. I can't get through, Mrs. Tang said bitterly. Really, how did we offend so many people? Isn't this what being a police officer is like? When revenge comes, it's impossible to guard against it. Professor Tang said helplessly, Tang Yan will investigate this matter himself when he comes back. I'm just worried about what will happen to Shanshan in the future. She will suffer with him. Mrs. Tang wanted to defend her nephew, but she didn't know where to start. Who wouldn't be afraid when a pregnant girl encountered such a dangerous situation? Don't talk so much. Let's go. The two of them wanted to go to the hospital and quickly contacted Song Xiaoji. On the other side, Song Xiaoji had already brought Feng Shanshan into the house. Sit anywhere. Don't be nervous. It's safe here. After Song Xiaoji entered the door, she handed Feng Shanshan a pair of slippers. You stay here for now. I think it's chaotic outside. It's enough for your family to handle. Dr. Song, can I use your phone again? Now, she was worried about the safety of Professor Tang and his wife. Also, she wanted to contact Mu Chichi. At least, the only person she could think of now was Mu Chichi. Take it. Song Xiaoji took out her phone and handed it to Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan immediately dialed, but found that the number could not be dialed at all. There was no signal. Dr. Song, can I go to the balcony? There's no signal here. Okay, I poured you a glass of water. Take your time. Song Qiaoxi's smile was warm and not aggressive at all. After getting permission, Feng Shanshan immediately walked to the balcony. Other than Tang Yan's number, she could not remember Mu Qiqi's number completely. She could only try to call it. But at this moment, she felt dizzy. By the time she reacted, it was already too late and she fainted on the ground. Song Qiaoxi could not bear to see her fall to the ground. Was a pregnant woman of 4 to 5 months going to die in her hands just like that? Then, Qingbin called. "Miss Song, can you hand him over to me now? I never intended to hand her over to you. I have other uses for Feng Shanshan, so I'll take her with me. I'll send you photos regularly. When the time comes, you can still lure Tang Yan into the trap." Song Qiaoxi refused decisively. "No, Mr. Jin sent you to assist me. What are you doing now?" Qingbin said angrily on the other side of the phone. "Don't play tricks on me. I'll do anything for revenge. You already have something on me. I won't give her to you. Besides, I'm only helping my father get rid of Tang Yan. I didn't say that I was going to hand over the pregnant woman." After saying that, Song Qiaoxi hung up the phone. Everything was under control. She secretly sent her away. Then, she drugged herself and fainted. Everything was flawless. Immediately after, the neighbors found that Song Qiaoxi's door was wide open and immediately called the police. When Professor Tang and the other two arrived, Song Qiaoxi was also sent to the hospital. The doctor said that she had inhaled a small amount of drugs, and Feng Shanshan had already disappeared. Professor Tang immediately panicked. Song Qiaoxi also weakly apologized to the two elders. "I'm sorry. I thought that we would be safe if I brought Miss Feng back to my house. I didn't expect someone to follow us." What could Professor Tang say? She had been dragged into this for no reason and was now lying in the hospital injured. Could they blame her? "Old Tang, Shanshan is missing. The child is missing. Think of a way. Think of a way to contact Tang Yan." Mrs. Tang was anxious. She was perfectly fine. She was handed over to us, and now she's gone. If Tang Yan comes back and asks, how can we face him? Song Qiaoxi closed her eyes as if she was thinking carefully. After a moment, she said, before she fainted, Shanshan lent me her phone. I don't know who she called, but it might be someone she trusts. Think about it, other than her husband, who else does she trust? Professor Tang suddenly seemed to have woken up from a dream. Chi-Chi, but Chi-Chi is also sick at home now. How can I disturb her? I'll go back to the station first and tell the chief about this. I can only try to contact Tang Yan. Since the other party is here for Tang Yan, it means that they won't do anything to Shanshan for the time being. You make it sound so easy. Shanshan is pregnant now. She can't withstand any torture. Mrs. Tang was not so optimistic. Sigh. It's all my fault. Professor Tang was so anxious that he stomped his feet. The matter was neither big nor small, and it was even on the news. Then, Su Che received the news and immediately went into the office to tell Xing Xiao, Feng Shanshan is missing. Xing Xiao suddenly raised his head and looked at Su Che. When did this happen? I went home from the prenatal checkup in the morning. I was intercepted on the way. Now, her whereabouts are unknown. President, should we tell Madam? Xing Xiao shook his head. I know what I'm doing. Go and understand the process carefully. Chi could not know about this. This was because he knew Mu Qiqi's personality very well. She only cared about these few people. If she found out that Feng Shanshan was missing, she would not be able to quietly nurture the fetus at home. This was what Xing Kai had said before. Jinbo had asked Qingbin to make a move. Now, he had captured Feng Shanshan to deal with Tang Yen. Since it was to wait for Tang Yen, Feng Shanshan's life would not be in danger now, but he did not dare to think about whether the child could still be saved. At the Jianchuan branch office, the professor returned to the station and went straight to the chief's office. "Chief, let Tang Yen come back. Something happened, he's on a mission now. He won't be back until the afternoon. Shanshan is missing. She's been kidnapped." Professor Tang said helplessly. "Back then, I shouldn't have allowed him to go undercover. Otherwise, his family wouldn't have been ruined. If anything happens to Shanshan, will Tang Yen still be able to live?" Perhaps it was because he heard the professor's last sentence that the chief suddenly came to a realization. He made a phone call. "Bring Tang Yen back immediately." Chapter 850. Now that the matter had blown up, everyone knew that Feng Shanshan had been kidnapped, but she was not in Qingbin's hands. Qingbin thought about it and felt that it was ironic. He had underestimated Song Qiaoji. However, as Song Qiaoji had said, she had sent Qingbin photos of Feng Shanshan being tied up. These were enough to lure Tang Yen into the trap. What **TCH? What if she told him to play the empty city ruse? However, he had no other choice now. He could only follow his original plan and find a pregnant woman to pretend to be her to lure Tang Yen out, even if it meant perishing together. However, Tang Yen was so cunning and had a close relationship with Xing Xiao. If the two of them worked together, he might not have a chance of winning. Therefore, he called Jinbo. "Mr. Jin, Miss Song has taken her away. How am I supposed to deal with Tang Yen? Qiaoji has already reported this to me. Tang Yen is worried and confused. As long as you lure him, he will definitely take the bait. At this juncture, don't cause too many murders." Jinbo was unmoved. After all, between Qingbin and Song Qiaoji, he naturally trusted his daughter more. But you also know that Tang Yen is very cunning. He's been a criminal police officer for so many years. It's very likely that he'll see through it, that's why we have to continue holding him in our hands. Only then will he be obedient. With that, Jinbo hung up. Qingbin felt his mind explode. He was purely being used by Jinbo. He had taken such a big risk to capture her, but in the end, Jinbo had reaped the benefits while he had to perish together with Tang Yen. If he failed, then Feng Shanshan would still be in Jinbo's hands. Tang Yen would still not dare to act rashly. What a good plan. However, now that things had come to this, there was no turning back for him. In any case, if he killed Tang Yen, he had no intention of leaving alive. In the afternoon, Tang Yen finally rushed back from another city. However, when he returned to the police station, the news he received almost made him break down. "Tang Yen, you have to calm down," the chief said to him with some heartache. Tang Yen did not say anything. He took off his police uniform and walked out of the police station. The chief was afraid that something would happen to Tang Yen, so he immediately got someone to stop him. "Tang Yen, don't do anything rash. Don't forget your identity." Tang Yen didn't care about anything else. He just pushed away the people who came to stop him. "I'll kill whoever stops me today." Xiaolong had never seen Tang Yen like this before. His eyes were red, and the veins on his neck were bulging. He was so scared that he took 2 steps back. Professor Tang felt extremely uncomfortable when he saw Tang Yen like that. He walked up and said, "I know that if I don't let you go, you'll definitely go crazy. But Tang Yen, I want you to remember that if there's a glimmer of hope for survival, don't choose to die. If Shanshan and the child lose even a strand of hair, I'll make Qingbin die a horrible death. You're a cop. But who will pity my lover, my child? Tang Yen said sternly, then opened the door of the off-road vehicle. The chief wanted to get someone to tie him up, but Tang Yen took out a gun and pointed it at his head. Chief, don't make me crazy. Don't act rashly. All of you, step back, the chief quickly shouted. Seeing this, Tang Yen put away his gun and drove away. He didn't want to be a police officer anymore, and he didn't want to be a captain anymore. Protecting the country and putting the people first were all thrown to the back of his mind. If he couldn't even protect the most important person, then what was the point of living in this world? Chase after him immediately and bring him back. The chief was heartbroken. Then, the police team also set off. However, 5 minutes after Tang Yen left, the police station received an anonymous express delivery. When Xiaolong saw that it was Tang Yan's express delivery, he secretly hid in the bathroom and opened it. Then, he sent the photo of Feng Shanshan being tied up to Tang Yen and the letter Qingbin left him. Captain Tang, you don't need to guess to know who I am. It's time for us to settle the score from back then. If you want to save your woman, tonight at 12:00, in the abandoned glass factory on the outskirts of the city. As long as you bring the police here, I guarantee that you'll be able to see your woman's steaming corpse. When Xiaolong sent these over, his hands were actually trembling. Because he felt that he was sending Tang Yen to his death. However, that was Captain Tang's lover. That was Captain Tang's life. If he didn't do this, he felt that it would be no different from killing Captain Tang. Tang Yen raced on the road. He really wanted to grab Qingbin's neck and break it. But he couldn't. After that, Tang Yen returned home because he had to prepare for his appointment that night. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. Tang Yen immediately stood up vigilantly. Who is it? It's me, Su Che. Tang Yen got up and opened the door. When he saw that it was Su Che, he knew that he was Xing Zhao's lobbyist. I'm going to Qingbin's appointment tonight. President Xing doesn't want to stop you, but he won't let you die for no reason. President Xing has found something. If you're still willing to listen to it, come with me to Zhongteng. Tang Yen did not say anything. President, I know you're anxious, but there's one thing you need to know. Jin Bo sent a helper to Qingbin, and in the message that Xing Kai sent to the president, he mentioned such a person. She's a woman. At this moment, Tang Yan's expression finally showed a subtle change. Don't blame the president for not telling you, because he's not sure either. Now that it's happened, he'll set up a trap according to your previous agreement. The other party knows that you're worried and confused, so you can do whatever you want. However, if you want to save someone, you can't rely on your fists. You have to rely on this. Su Che pointed at his head. How about it? Are you willing to come with me to see the president now? Wait for me to pack up, Tang Yen said in a deep voice. I'll give you 3 minutes. The people at the police station probably won't be at ease with you wandering around alone. Tang Yen could not deny it, especially since he still had a gun in his hand. However, he did not bring a gun because this was the soul of a police officer. He would not abandon it. He did not need such a thing to deal with Qingbin, so he only put a dagger on his leg. When we reach Zhongteng, Su Che, do me a favor and help me send this back to the police station. When Su Che saw this, he shook his head. Outsiders shouldn't touch this thing, and you shouldn't give it to them either. Tang Yen did not force him. He hid it at home. You know quite a lot. Then, the two of them got into Su Che's car and left. Tang Yen did not drive his off-road vehicle out because it would be too eye-catching. Soon, the two of them arrived at Zhongteng. Su Che knew that in a situation where he did not know whether Feng Shanshan was safe or not, every minute and second was torture for him. However, the more it was like this, the more it tested a man's endurance. He had once been a spy, so he must have experienced this before. A moment later, the two of them entered Xing Xiao's office. When Xing Xiao saw him, he heaved a sigh of relief. At least, this person had not lost his mind to the point of being hopeless. Since you're here, let's cut the crap and sort out the key information. Chapter 851. Xing Xiao glanced at him and moved his lips. Who was the one who coincidentally appeared beside you during this period of time? Tang Yan thought about it for a few seconds and closed his eyes. It seemed that he already had an idea. That's why I sent Su Che to your house. Su Che went to find out what happened today. Qingbin got someone to damage Professor Tang's car. The car broke down halfway, and Qingbin's people took the opportunity to kidnap someone. At this time, the police were alerted. In addition, the little criminal police officer you sent is quite skilled. So, if this woman doesn't appear, Qingbin's plan will fail. She used such a long time to gain Feng Shanshan's trust, saved Feng Shanshan on such an occasion, and brought her home. It's too easy. When he recalled that he and Feng Shanshan had gone to listen to this doctor's lecture not long ago, he felt that he might have been blind. Qingbin asked to meet me tonight. Having said that, Tang Yan took out his phone and placed it in front of Xing Xiao. But I don't believe that Feng Shanshan is in Qingbin's hands. Xing Xiao glanced at the photo on his phone and answered Tang Yan. Previously, Jin Bo sent Shen Yu over for Xing Bowen's case. He said it was a gift for Xing Kai. He's just finding an excuse to attack the Xing family, and his real goal is to test my ability. Now, Jin Bo has sent another person to assist Qingbin. His purpose is to get rid of you. I believe that. After all, in Bai Sini's case, we found a lot of suspicious points related to Jin Bo. He has this reason to get rid of you, but it turns out that Jin Bo must have a backup plan. Why would he hand Feng Shanshan over to Qingbin just to help him take revenge? What if Qingbin fails to take revenge and you don't get rid of him? Wouldn't his plan be in vain? So, Feng Shanshan should be in this woman's hands. Do you remember that Qi gave Feng Shanshan a headset with a GPS? At the mention of the GPS, Tang Yan's eyes lit up because the jewelry was still on Feng Shanshan's body. He had never asked her to take it off. Thinking of this, he immediately took out his phone, but the signal was not connected to Feng Shanshan's locator. His heart sank into the abyss once more. Tang Yan put down his phone and closed his eyes again to sort out his thoughts. I have to go because I can't afford to gamble. Xing Xiao, you know that. If there was anyone in this world who could understand the torment in his heart, it was Xing Xiao. Without Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi in this world, these two men were just shells without hearts and walking corpses. Of course you have to go, but not to die. Xing Xiao looked at him firmly. Do you remember what we said? Set a trap. Tang Yan had nothing now, and he didn't care about anything. Every second that Feng Shanshan was outside was like pouring oil on his heart. What do you think? President, the police are here. Before the two of them could say a few words, Su Che entered the door and interrupted them. Take the elevator and leave. I'll call you on the way. Tang Yan nodded and immediately got up. He followed Su Che and bypassed the police. Then, old Qing came to the door. When he saw Xing Xiao, he was very respectful. CEO Xing, I'm really sorry to disturb you. Has Captain Tang been here before? I'm leaving, Xing Xiao replied as he leaned against the sofa. Then, did he say where he's going? To save someone. Xing Xiao's answer was equivalent to not answering. CEO Xing, we're just afraid that something will happen to Captain Tang. Sister-in-law has been taken away. We're also very worried, but impulsiveness won't solve the problem. Don't worry. He's not as weak as you think. With that, Xing Xiao got up and returned to his desk. Actually, if he wanted to know whether Feng Shanshan was in Qingbin's hands or not, he only needed to trick her. Then, Xing Xiao asked the technical department to quickly strengthen the search for the locator on Feng Shanshan's body. Today was the day of the prenatal checkup. Logically speaking, Feng Shanshan should have called Mu Qiqi after she was done. However, it was already evening, and she still hadn't received any news from Feng Shanshan. Xing Xiao had already called Mama Xing in the morning. He couldn't let Mu Qiqi see the news on TV or on her phone. But this was the information age. Mama Xing tried her best to distract Mu Qiqi, but after dinner, she still said to Mama Xing, "Mommy, I want to go down and see Feng Shanshan." Didn't eighth brother say it? It's better if you don't go out. But I can't get through to Feng Shanshan's phone. Mu Qiqi was a little worried. She rarely does this. She also has a husband and a family. If something really happens, she'll definitely tell you. Don't worry. You're pregnant now, so don't let your imagination run wild. Go to sleep. Mama Xing looked at the time. Mommy, I'll wait a little longer. Mama Xing was helpless, so she looked at Papa Xing. Papa Xing had an idea and immediately took out the design drawings. Since you can't sleep now, come and take a look at the baby's toys. I plan to build a playground for my little grandson in the garden. These are my design drawings. Qiqi, take a look. When Mu Qiqi saw the drawings, her gaze was indeed attracted. Seeing this, Mama Xing finally heaved a sigh of relief. After nightfall, Jianchuan was extremely hot. Tang Yan sneaked into the abandoned site in advance. Then, he lay on the ceiling and installed a pinhole camera. In such an empty hall, there was nothing. Other than an abandoned table, there was nowhere to hide. After observing the surroundings, Tang Yan left the abandoned site and lay beside a garbage station not far away. Tonight was the final battle between him and Qingbin. It should have been settled a long time ago. He only regretted not killing this group of people when he was a spy. That was why there was such a situation now. The person he loved the most was being held hostage by this group of people. Then, Xing Xiao called. I found an address near Qingbin's house. Give me the signal source and the address, Tang Yan said in a low voice over the phone. I can't wait any longer. If you rashly go to Qingbin's house, there will definitely be a trap. Do you think he doesn't know what you're thinking? Moreover, Su Che just came back from that area and heard about something. A family lost a pregnant woman and has already reported it. What did this mean? Feng Shanshan was indeed not in Qingbin's hands. In order to pass off the fake as the real one, Qingbin had caught someone else to replace her. If this is true, what do you plan to do with that innocent pregnant woman? Tang Yan's hands could not help but tremble. This was because he could not let innocent people sacrifice themselves because of him. Feng Shanshan was his wife and lover. If he could not escape in the end, at most, he would die for Feng Shanshan. But how could he repay the innocent people? Chapter 852. Don't say such discouraging words. Dr. Song has already been controlled for you. We'll wait for you to come back. It all depended on whether Jin Bo wanted Song Qiaoji or Feng Shanshan. Thank you. There were thousands of words, but there was nothing else. There was not much hesitation between men. They were straightforward with each other. During this time, Xing Xiao asked Su Che to secretly check the surveillance cameras around Song Qiaoji. How did she get out, where she was hiding now, and if it was really that difficult to find out. Moreover, the jewelry that should have appeared on Feng Shanshan's body had appeared near Qingbin's house. However, the person in Qingbin's hands was not Feng Shanshan. What did this mean? The things on Feng Shanshan might have been sent to Qingbin in order to pass off the fake as the real one. Half an hour after you go in, I'll call the police. Whatever you want to do, settle it within that half an hour. Why didn't he call the police from the beginning? What if their judgment was wrong? Whether it was Feng Shanshan or another pregnant woman, their lives were equally important. Therefore, Xing Xiao gave him half an hour to settle his personal grudges. Tang Yan put down his phone and sat next to the trash heap because he could observe the situation of the abandoned glass factory nearby. He could also immediately know that Qingbin had brought someone over. He only hoped that the heavens would bless him and not let him be alone again. Or, let him die alone and not hurt his wife and children. At 8:30 p.m., Xing Xiao was still not home. Mu Qiqi woke up from her nap and found it strange that she did not see him. She called Xing Xiao. "Why aren't you home tonight?" Xing Xiao was in the car. When he heard the little one's voice, he immediately let go of his fierceness and said to her, "Secretary, he asked me to go over. Mom said you were still sleeping, so I didn't call you. Is there something urgent?" "Probably," Xing Xiao said lightly, trying his best to make his tone sound calm. "All right then. Come back early. When you're back, bring me to see Feng Shanshan. I haven't been able to contact her all day. I don't know what's wrong." "Okay." Xing Xiao only said one word. "Then you go ahead." With that, Mu Qiqi hung up. She did not know why, but everyone was acting strangely tonight. However, no matter how strange it was, she was still pregnant and could not act rashly. Even if it was only a 10-minute distance, she promised that she would not go out. It was 10:00 at night. The Jianchuan branch office was still in an emergency meeting because Xing Xiao brought news about Tang Yan. He also said that the two of them had agreed to meet at midnight. He was worried that Tang Yan would use too much force and cause both sides to suffer a loss in the end. Xing Xiao was calmer than the director. If Tang Yan is really a reckless person, he wouldn't have endured it until now. He doesn't want others to be implicated because of him. So, director, you shouldn't worry about whether he will get into trouble or not. Instead, you should think about how to help him save people. CEO Xing, are you so sure that Tang Yan won't kill Qingbin? He wants to, but he won't, because he knows that if he kills someone, then he and Feng Shanshan will have no future. Not only that, but he also has the self-awareness as a police officer. His soul won't allow him to do it. The director looked at Xing Xiao in surprise. Why did he feel that after working with Tang Yan for so long, he did not know him as well as Xing Xiao did? Then you should have told us this afternoon. If I had told you and pursued him relentlessly, do you think he would still be able to wait so calmly at the agreed place with Qingbin? The director looked at Xing Xiao thoughtfully. Especially when he looked at Xing Xiao's calm eyes. This man had always maintained his unchanging emotions, as if he did not know what panic was. Okay, I'll go and deploy the rescue plan now. I hope I can make it in time. Wait. Xing Xiao took out his phone and sent the photo to the director. This is the terrain survey that Tang Yan did in advance. It's convenient for you to deploy. CEO Xing, it's a pity that you're not a police officer. Hurry up. You still have 3 hours. Xing Xiao looked at his watch and reported the time to the director. Once tonight's matter was resolved, it would be time for him and Tang Yan to counterattack. Can I ask why you're helping Tang Yan so much? The director did not understand. As the CEO of a well-known company, Xing Xiao was running around for a criminal police officer. It was unbelievable. For my because he did not want to worry and be sad because of Feng Shanshan. Okay, then let's stop here for today. I'll go and deploy the plan first. With that, the director quickly left the office. It was already 10:00 at night. Feng Shanshan had been unconscious for an entire day and finally woke up in a small bathroom. When she woke up, she found that her original clothes and jewelry were gone. The GPS that Qi had given her was hidden inside, but now, she did not know where it was. She was very hungry and very tired. However, she did not dare to make a sound because she did not want to be sure that she had fallen into Qingbin's hands. If that was the case, that man must be in great danger. However, before she could think too much, the bathroom door was suddenly pushed open. A middle-aged woman squatted in front of Feng Shanshan with hot milk in her hand. Drink it. You must be hungry too. Who are you? Where is this? Auntie, can you? Miss, since you're pregnant here, don't resist. This is good for you and the child. What do you think? The middle-aged woman's words were cold and ruthless. She brought the milk to Feng Shanshan's mouth and poured it down her throat. Can I drink it myself? No, I'm afraid you'll hurt yourself. With that, the middle-aged woman continued to pour it down her throat until the cup was empty. Have a good rest tonight. With that, the woman got up and closed the bathroom door, not giving Feng Shanshan any time to ask any more questions. Feng Shanshan observed the bathroom carefully. She smelled something. She had smelled it at Song Chaoji's house in the morning. It seemed to be the fragrance of gardenias. Did this mean that she was still in that apartment? Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan was a little excited, but soon, she was discouraged. In this season, there were gardenias everywhere, and they might not be in the original area. What would happen outside tonight? That man, was he crazy with anxiety? If it was Qingbin, Feng Shanshan did not dare to think too much about it because he was here for revenge. Tang Yan would definitely be tortured by him. However, she was locked up here. What could Qingbin use to threaten Tang Yan? Thinking of this, she had more questions in her heart, but there were no answers. She had never thought that she would experience a real kidnapping. Feng Shanshan thought to herself, when danger really comes, who would she rather be alive? Chapter 853. At 11:30 p.m., a silver pickup truck drove in from the night and stopped outside the glass factory. Tang Yan lay on the ground and watched as Qingbin dragged a big box and unloaded it from the car. With the help of two people, he entered the glass factory. If he guessed correctly, the box contained the innocent pregnant woman. Qingbin had chosen such a place to prevent Tang Yan from playing tricks in such a complicated environment. The surroundings were empty and there was nothing. He did not believe that Tang Yan could still play any tricks like this. Tie her to the chair, Qingbin instructed his two subordinates. The pregnant woman was wearing Feng Shanshan's clothes and jewelry. Her figure was similar to Feng Shanshan's, and she was covered with a black cloth. He did not believe that Tang Yan would still be able to recognize her. The pregnant woman was unconscious and had inhaled a small amount of drugs. When Tang Yan arrives, stand at the door and keep watch. If there's any movement, give me the signal immediately. Got it, Brother Cheng. Qingbin tied bombs to himself and the pregnant woman. Whoever dared to approach would turn everyone into meat paste. Time was ticking away. The people from the branch office had also appeared in the wasteland a few kilometers away from the abandoned factory with the police force. The police in charge of investigation had already quietly gone over. The main force would move according to the tip-off from their colleagues in front and narrow the range. The chief was personally in charge, afraid that Tang Yen would do something stupid. In contrast, Xing Xiao was much calmer. There was no trace of panic on his sharp face. It was as if he could stabilize the situation better than the chief. Time slowly passed until 12 o'clock. Tang Yan got up from the side of the garbage and approached the glass factory without saying a word. "Brother Qing, he's here." Qing Bin's subordinate reminded him. "He came alone. There's no trace of the police." "Indeed not. He didn't even drive a car," the subordinate replied. "Let him in." Qing Bin could not wait any longer. He stood behind the pregnant woman with a homemade weapon in his hand. When he saw Tang Yan enter, he was extremely excited. Tang Yan was alone and did not bring anything with him. His body had also been searched by the two subordinates. Other than a dagger, he did not even bring a gun. A criminal police officer did not bring a gun. "I'm here." Tang Yan walked to a place 4 meters away from Qing Bin and stopped. "What do you want for you to let her go?" "Release him." Qing Bin laughed. "Tang Yan, as a police officer, you shouldn't be so whimsical. Wouldn't it be nice for you and your beloved woman to die together as a family of 3? Let her go, and I can let you do whatever you want. Do you think you still have the right to negotiate with me?" Qing Bin shouted. "Tie him up." Tang Yan had been observing the pregnant woman. From this, he could conclude that it was indeed not his Shanshan. It was just an innocent and pitiful victim. The two men moved quickly. They quickly took out the rope they carried and tied Tang Yan up. Tang Yan was pushed to the ground. He lay on the ground without any signs of resistance. "You've gotten what you wanted. Can you let this innocent pregnant woman go now?" Qing Bin was stunned for a moment, and his expression changed slightly. "Tang Yan, this is your woman. Don't try to play tricks with me. If she wasn't your woman, would you be willing to be helped here by me?" "Beat him up." The two subordinates pounced on him almost at the same time and kicked Tang Yan's back and lower abdomen. After about 3 minutes, Qing Bin let go when he saw Tang Yan vomiting blood. "Don't beat him to death. I haven't let him feel the torture I've suffered over the past few years." Tang Yan curled up on the ground in a sorry state. His mouth and eyes were full of blood. "Now, can you let that innocent pregnant woman go?" Qing Bin was surprised. Seeing that Tang Yan was willing to be beaten, he almost laughed out of anger. "How do you know that she's not your woman? Shanshan doesn't have such a big shoe size." Qing Bin looked at the woman's feet and immediately deflated. He nodded. "It seems that our Captain Tang is really in love. He knows his woman very well. Since you've already recognized her, I'm not afraid to tell you that she's indeed not your woman." With that, Qing Bin removed the woman's hood. "She's an innocent woman. I captured her because of you. Do you want to know where your woman is?" Qing Bin squatted on the ground and looked at Tang Yan. "She's in a dark place, covered in blood. Oh right, she even had a miscarriage. Did you know that? Blood flowed all over the ground. I've never seen such a tragic scene." "Shut up!" Tang Yan shouted sternly. "Shut ahem up." Qing Bin took the opportunity to grab Tang Yan's collar and fiercely pull him in front of him. "So many brothers have gone to prison because of you. Their families have all been ruined. Their wives are sick and dead. Your woman's current state is considered light." After hearing Qing Bin's words, Tang Yan suddenly laughed. "A criminal is a criminal, and trash is trash. Even sophistry can be so shameless. Because of your so-called brothers, who sell drugs and commit all kinds of crimes, how many families in this world have been broken up and their families separated? You're talking to me about justice?" Qing Bin was suddenly enraged. He punched Tang Yan's face again and again to vent the hatred in his heart. They're all our brothers. They're brothers with you, but they're enemies with me. A police officer is a police officer, and a bandit is a bandit. Tang Yan answered firmly. Qingbin could not tame Tang Yan, so he stood up in exasperation. Then, he slowly revealed a meaningful smile. Didn't you say that a police officer is a police officer and a bandit is a bandit? Alright, then I'll let you, a police officer, kill the pregnant woman in front of you with your own hands. Let's see how many tough bones you still have. After hearing Qingbin's words, Tang Yan suddenly laughed, even though he was covered in injuries. Looking at you like this, I'm even more certain that my woman is intact because you're just a pawn of Jin Bo. You don't have the right to control my woman. As long as she's not in your hands, what do I have to fear? I killed a pregnant woman because you threatened me. The law will give me a lighter punishment, but you will die a graveless death. Who do you think will be able to leave alive today? Qingbin suddenly sneered. You, and I should all be buried with our dead brothers. On the other side, the chief was very anxious. How's the situation inside? Qingbin is very agitated. Captain Tang's situation isn't good. If he gets beaten again, I'm afraid he won't be able to take it. He can take it, Xing Xiao told the chief with certainty. He told me that he'll wait for me for half an hour. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.